Beautiful Insanity of the Souls. Part 11. Chapter 5. Adrian, if that is too controversial, I might have Emma Stone investigate the death of Sam Cooke instead. You know, Sam Cooke is the undisputed king of soul. His death is controversial. He was an active part of the civil rights movement. His voice would have easily changed things around. Emily, played by Emma Stone, will investigate the cause of his death. She is in love with his songs and wants to know what really happened. She travels to the past with self-hypnotic. Sam was shot by a woman named Bertha Franklin. She is the manager of a motel in Los Angeles that Sam was staying at. They said it was a justifiable homicide. But there are a lot of questions that need to be answers. First of all, no woman who has heard "You Send Me" would not shoot Sam in the right state of mind. Regardless, the police found his body naked without shirt, pants, or underwear. He was only wearing a sports jacket and shoes, and shot in the chest. Emily doesn't buy it, thinks he was murdered deliberately. The government might have something to do with his death, like Martin Luther King Jr. Bertha Franklin said she shot him in self-defense. He broke into her office in a rage, wearing nothing but a shoe and a sports coat, and asked her where the woman, who had come with him, is, and then attacked her. Emily thinks that doesn't make sense. She is just repeating what they told her to say. According to her testimony, she then beat him over his head with a broomstick several times. Why would you hit someone with a broomstick after you shot him? It doesn't make any sense. There is a cover-up. Emily doesn't even believe the murder took place in the motel at all. They beat him and shot him somewhere else, then threatened Bertha Franklin to say what they told her. She questions the motel's owner, Evelyn Carr, who claimed that she heard the conflict, and Gunshot tells her she didn't really heard any conflict. But she wants to be left alone. Emily finds Elisa Boyer, who came to the motel with Sam. In reality, Elisa Boyer told the police she was kidnapped by Sam, and later escaped. But when she tells Emily, Elisa changes her story. The woman admits she met Sam a while ago, despite the fact she told the cops she just met him and spent the evening in his company. Elisa had known Sam for a while. He was her suitor. Emily asks her if she took his clothes. Elisa says she might have taken some of his clothes, like his pants and shirt. It was not because of wanting to steal them or anything. But she thought she just wanted to teach him a lesson. He had an affair. She was in love with him. Emily then comes to conclusion Elisa took some of his clothes. In sad coincidence, the bad guys broke into his room, took him with them, beat and killed him, then brought him back and made up all the drama. Emily has no proof. There is a cover-up. In the meantime, Emily finds herself in the alternative universe and spends quality time with Sam Cooke. They become lovers, make love a couple of times here and there. Emily inspires him to write beautiful songs. She is also writing a book about Sam Cooke's life in the present time, in the real world, as she investigates the case in the past, and continues to fall in love with him in the alternative universe. I will figure it out and work on it under the title of You Send Me. You know, I might focus on the romance in the alternative universe, and his songs. Kate, it sounds interesting. Emma Stone is lucky. Adrian smiles softly. Adrian, every time I fall in love with an actress, I write a screenplay. I don't know where to begin. Emma Stone is radiant. Jennifer Lawrence is talented. Like one time, I was in love with Natalie Portman after I saw her in Black Swan. I wrote her a spy thriller. You know, she plays a girl named Matilda, a head of Israel's Secret Service Mossad. Actually, the story begins in Jerusalem, Israel in 1990. Matilda is recruited by Benjamin, the head of Mossad. He trains her to be invincible. Matilda carries out a series of hits, killing radicals who finance terrorist groups in the Middle East, bombers and extremists, who stand against the stability of Israel, and all kinds of terrorists, who are hiding in Europe and Asia. She becomes the best that Mossad has ever trained. In the meantime, she has an affair with Benjamin, who has a wife and a daughter. Then Matilda is asked to kill Yitzhak Rabin, the Prime Minister of Israel. She doesn't want to do it, but senses they might kill her if she doesn't carry out the mission. Matilda carefully selects the alleged killer, Yugal Amir, seduces him. They make love here and there. She then dexterously persuades Yugal Amir to kill the Prime Minister, brainwashes him. Yugal Amir kills Yitzhak Rabin. Matilda holds Benjamin responsible for the death of the Prime Minister, despite the fact she is the one who put the finishing touch on it. Nevertheless, Benjamin admits it was his idea to kill Rabin. He tells her Israel only belongs to Israelites. But Matilda, who was just doing her job, tells him she will never forgive him. In the meantime, she involves in a romantic relationship with an American named William. He is an architect, doesn't know she is a spy, and thinks she just works for the government of Israel. Benjamin resigns shortly. Matilda replaces him as the head of Mossad and begins to call all the shots, domestic affair as well as foreign hits, looking down the earth with advanced satellites at Mossad headquarters in Jerusalem. In the end, she has to make the toughest decision of her life. Benjamin is selling Israel nuclear secret to Iran in black market. It's a crime that's punishable by death under Mossad code. No trial, no lawyer, no judge, straight to execution. But Matilda can't bring herself into killing him. He was her mentor. She was in love with him. They sit and have few words. Matilda shows him all the evidence against him, takes out her gun, removes all the bullets from the chamber but one, and asks him to play Russian roulette. First round, they both survive. Second round, they survive again. The third round, Matilda survives the odd. But Benjamin knows his time is up, tells her that he's proud of her, and shoots himself. Matilda retires from Mossad, gives birth to a beautiful girl Bethany and moves to the USA with her husband. The end. Kate, that's a serious movie. Adrian starts the car and begins to drive. Adrian, it's fiction. I will change Yugal Amir and Yitzhak Rabin's names and create a fictional country called Zion set in near future. They have advanced satellites that look every person in the planet like Enemy of State starring Will Smith, but it's more advanced. Regardless, Matilda is seductive but a pitiless killer. She comes out of nowhere and assassins the bad guys like the murkiness in hell. She is also genius. She carries out efficient and well-organized hits that are carefully planned by Mossad. I will change Mossad to Lionheart Intelligence Agency. Actually, it started out with real things. I looked at all intelligence missions that Mossad carried out in the internet and mixed it with fiction. I assumed they didn't place everything in the internet. They just put information that you hear in the news. But there are a lot of missions left out. But I didn't finish it due to sensitive nature of the subject, just postponed it. Instead, I'll take my time and create pure fiction like Luc Besson's Leon the Professional starring Jean Reno and Natalie Portman herself. I don't really understand all the suicide bombs. There are 100 billion stars in the universe just like the sun, and uncountable planets orbit those stars. Someone blowing themselves over so-called holy land that you can't even locate in the W map is a little bit extreme. You wonder, does the universal consciousness really apply to Earth? We are supposed to conquer the cosmos. If we continue to fight over holy land that the sun is going to consume in 5 billion years, we should start looking at the sky. You know, the Milky Way itself is not even a dust. There are countless stars in the universe. Maybe like they say, things happen for a reason. Nonetheless, I had to put it aside even though I love Natalie Portman more than life itself. Kate, I feel you. Adrian, I don't really like politics. But for some reason, I always end up writing something that has to do with politics. You know, I was in love with Zhang Ziyi. She is the Chinese actress. I saw her Memories of a Geisha and wrote a movie called The Last Dragons. CIA plans to turn Communist China, People's Republic of China, into capitalist nation, New Democratic China, using one of the most notorious yet charismatic gangsters, Tony Longchu Wei, who provides them with internal, key domestic information, and foreigner secrets, names of spy who works in the USA, and all kinds of chemical, biological and nuclear information that China is making as Tony strives to rule Hong Kong, Taiwan, and mainland China crime underworld glamorized by drugs, gun trades, money laundering, gambling, prostitution, racketeering, extortion, digital and computer business, corruption, murder, assassination, etc. Tony eliminates the main 5 untouchable China underworld bosses. The story also touches his desire to dominate Asian market and expand his illegitimate business to Europe, USA, and Latin America. Basically, Tony wants to rule the world like the Prince of Darkness. In the meantime, we are introduced to an American Interpol agent named Chris who is working undercover in Tony's crime family. He falls in love with Tony's beautiful girlfriend Amanda, played by Zhang Ziyi, who sings at one of Tony's clubs in Hong Kong. They involve in a passionate sexual relationship without the knowledge of Tony, right under his nose. Later, Tony finds out about it and beats Chris to last few breaths. His goons throw him in the river in Shanghai. Tony then disfigures Amanda's face. He actually cuts her cheek with a knife, sucks the blood from her face and bits off her cheek like a savage creature. Amanda thinks about committing suicide but changes her mind at the last seconds, finds out she is pregnant with Chris's child. In the other hand, a good Samaritan pulls Chris out of the river and takes him to a hospital. The doctors save his life. Later, Chris recovers from his injury, kills all of Tony's goons and brings Tony to justice after they have a well-scripted martial art fight. In the courtroom, Tony testifies before the International Law Committee against CIA that had provided him with all kinds of weapons and money. He tries to justify his action, torturing, killing, selling China's nuclear secrets and critical information to CIA and other things are to prevent Third World War from happening between China, Korea, Japan, the United States and the rest of the world. Later, Chris and Amanda reunite. She has scars on her face, still looks gorgeous. Chris kisses her scars. They magically heal as it were a fairy tale. It's a joke. They don't heal, to keep it a little bit realistic. Yet, she gives birth to a boy. They move to America. In the meantime, we also meet other glamorous and interesting characters like Tony's younger brother Mark. He is ladies' man and Showtime, but crazy and happy trigger like Joe Pesci in Goodfellas. Tony's little brother Luke 22. He is a college student, an activist for New China, believes China should be a democratic republic nation like USA instead of communist nation. Luke leads one of the biggest protests in the history of China before he and thousands college students, who came all over China, clash with the police in Beijing, which costs hundreds of innocent people lives. We are also introduced to Miaoli Wui played by Jing Tian. She is Luke's girlfriend and the daughter of General Qin Wui, who is responsible for interrogating students for New China and persecuting them to the full extent of the law, and anyone who stands against the stability of People Republic of China. We also meet Yao Yuan. He is the leader of New Democratic Republic of China Party, whom CIA is planning to use as a puppet president. There is Police Inspector Liu Ying who tortures college students, who support New China. He is merciless but he thinks he's just doing his job, serves under General Qin Wui. He has a son named Lito who supports New China. He is Luke's best friend. Liu Ying ends up torturing his own son to show his loyalty to the government of China as well as to keep him alive. In the other hand, we meet an investigating journalist named Angelica Li, played by Zhang Xinu, who investigates the assassination of Chief of Police Wang in Shanghai. She then finds herself in a love triangle with her rich boyfriend Le Hang, who works in fashion industry, and an officer named Tang who helps her solve the crime. Tang wants to bring Tony into justice at all costs, and ends up falling in love with Angelica as they continue to work together. Later, Tony threatens to kill Angelica and everything that Tang loves. Tang places a gun on Tony's head and tells him he doesn't care about them, he will go to hell with him and spit on his soul as he burns for eternity. He doesn't deserve to live. Yet, Tony's goons brings Tang's little sister Anita into the mix. If he kills Tony, they will kill Anita and all his family. Tang changes his mind. The law don't apply to Tony. When he is about to kill Tang, Chris stops Tony. He tells him there are surveillance cameras in the building. It's a setup. They are committing suicide to arrest him. Regardless, Tony shoots Tang and tells Chris, I am the law. I am God. Nobody fucks with me and gets away with it. Just get me the fucking surveillance video and walks away. Tony has a mistress named Valsi played by Barbie Hsu. She is a seductress. She might stole the show. Tony is in love with her. She uses him to get few things here and there. There are also Chinese undercover cops, who work in Tony's gangs including a man named Teddy. Tony finds out Teddy is undercover. He cuts him to piece and feed him to his tiger while everybody is watching. Tony also has his people working in the police departments as well like internal affair. How can I forget about Sophie played by Fan Bingbing? She is a show stealer. Sophie is Mark's movie star girlfriend, graces the covers of various fashion, art and film magazines in China. She even appears on the cover of Vanity Fair and Vogue. One time a producer refuses to give her a part in Wildflower. It's a major Hong Kong movie. Mark puts him in a panda cage. The producer agrees to give her the part. She ends up winning award for the best actress. She is simply irresistible, might be the most coquettish girl in the movie. There is Toshiba, half Japanese and half Chinese, very stylish gangster who controls the Asian fashion world while selling cocaine, heroin, and pharmaceutical medicines. He also makes all kinds of pills including ecstasy, speed, meth, and a new powerful and highly addictive drug called True Romance. However, Tony gets rid of him and takes over his operation. Hui Ji is a well-respected gangster, rules the street. Hui Ji is like the Walmart of Sam Walton, the China underworld, has thugs that consist of hundreds of street punks, martial art experts, thieves, assassins, etc. He is known for racketeering and doing little things that matter. His gangs steal jewelry stores, destroy marketplaces, and beat people, who refuse to pay them, and steals cars and many more things. We have Li Qing. He is one of the 5 big bosses, poisonous but very smart. He controls all the computer and electronics underworld, and an estimate $10 billion piracy operation, from video games to DVD, laptops, cell phones and others electronics devices. He makes peace with Tony at first. But later, Tony finds out Li Qing is behind the assassination attempt on his life. Tony and his gangs come and wipe out all Li Qing's gang members, hard-boil style. Tony kills Li Qing himself and take over his business operation. There is Shui Yang, Tony's #1 rival. He controls the Chinese underworld of gambling, prostitution, drugs, guns trade, money printing, racketeering, extortion, stock market securities and inside trading, etc. He has all the politicians in his pocket. Shui Yang is like Don Corleone in The Godfather with mean altitude. Tony eventually eliminates him. We also introduce to other high-profile corrupted officials who involve in selling nuclear and other important government secrets to Tony. The story takes us from Hong Kong to Shanghai, Beijing, Shenyang, Tianjin, and Taiwan and also introduces us to corrupted CIA officials and top undercover Interpol and FBI agents in 5 parts. But it mainly focuses on the relationship between Chris and Amanda. They make love every chance they get. He is addicted to her. She is in love with him. In the meantime, he finds himself sucked into Tony's criminal world and kills rival gangsters to prove his loyalty and be with Amanda as long as possible. He even changes side as he continues to involve sexually with Amanda. They have some of the best sex in the history of cinema. It's a story of love and passion blend with seduction, crime, and corruption. Kate, it sounds pretty interesting. Adrian, it's inspired by Lust and Causation, Hard Boil, A Better Tomorrow, Infernal Affairs, and other amazing Chinese movies. I wrote the first draft and all. But later I put it aside. I haven't looked at it for a while. Kate, why is that? Adrian, I heard they don't allow you to make a movie that might stand against China's view of democracy. They are very restricted when it comes to politics. You know, millions of students protesting in Beijing won't do China any good. I love China. I grew up watching a lot of martial arts movies starring Jet Li, Bruce Lee, Chow Yun-fat, Jackie Chan and Michelle Yeoh. I don't really know anything about political. I picked up little things like socialism and capitalist when I was a kid. I just like the idea of getting people fired up regardless of what I believe. The movie isn't really about politics. It's romance. Regardless, if it's going to come between me, myself, and I'm getting banned from entering China in account of a cause that I don't even have the slightest clue, I would say, fuck it. Instead I'll write something beautiful like In the Mood for Love, Days of Being Wild and 2046. Something that is enchanting. But Sean said he liked it. HBO wanted to make series based on the movie like The Sopranos and The Tudor. He is begging me to finish it. He said the government of China wouldn't mind. They might want to see something a little bit radical and prepare for the worst. Or they would just make it in America at the Universal Studio. But I doubt it. You know, it's going to be too controversial. Kate, I saw Lust and Causation. I like it. Kate's cell phone rings. She answers it and listens to what the person has to say in the other end. She then hangs it up. Adrian, who is that? Kate, it's Caesar. He asked us to meet him. It's urgent. He has some information and wants to discuss it in person. He'll text me the address. She looks at her cell. Kate, Miami Plaza 2563. 8 p.m. Adrian looks at his watch. Adrian, it's almost 8. 7:48, check the direction on your cell phone. EXT Mercedes convertible, moving, night. Medium shot of the rental car as Adrian and Kate continue to drive in the street of Miami. On the soundtrack, music comes. We then take it with overhead shot. EXT restaurant and bar night. Caesar sits at a table with a glass of whiskey. At the entrance, Adrian and Kate walk in. Caesar sees them and waves his hand. They see him and come to the table. Kate, what's up? Caesar, hi. Caesar pulls a chair for Kate. She sits at the table. Adrian sits as well. Kate, what's it? Caesar, I was looking for the hitman that you told me to track down. Guess where it led me? Have you heard a man named Lucifer? They said he's the Prince of Darkness. He found out that I was looking for a hitman with Scorpio tattoo on his wrist. It might be some kind of code for assassin. I am not sure. But his bodyguards took me to a warehouse at gunpoint. Lucifer threatened to cut my ear off if I didn't tell him who hired me. I told him the truth. Luckily, he's a big fan of your work, let me go. But before I left the warehouse, he said he wanted to see you, might have information that would help your case. Caesar takes out 2 cards that look like a credit card. Caesar, he gives me these VIP cards. The address is written in holograph. Caesar puts the card in front of them. Caesar, it's up to you to talk to him. But I must warn you, he's extremely dangerous man. If I were you, I'll think twice before I do anything. Caesar continues to talk. Music plays on the soundtrack. EXT Lucifer Mansion Night. An established shot of Lucifer Mansion. It's multi-million-dollar house. It's as big as 4 museums. We see breathtaking gardens, ponds, swimming pools, water fountain, etc. Adrian and Kate come driving and stop at the gate. 2 security guards approach them and ask them for the cards. Adrian and Kate give them the cards. The guards scan the cards with advanced computer. They are valid. A security guard makes a call with his radio. The gate opens. Adrian and Kate drive through the entrance. They move down the park and continue to drive toward the house. We see security standing everywhere. Adrian and Kate come driving and stop the Mercedes near the mansion and get out of the car. Adrian gives the key to a parking attendant. The attendant gets behind the wheel and drives the convertible to park it. A security man escorts Adrian and Kate toward the main entrance. Another security man looks at their cards and scans them. It's percussion measure. They are valid. He applies the code to the palace entry. The door opens. Security man lets them in. Int. Lucifer Mansion night. It's foggy. We can't see clearly. Adrian and Kate walk through the cloud. There are all kinds of nude sculptures. The cloud softens gradually. A girl named Rihanna, 24, wearing S&M leather outfit that reveals her breasts and private part approaches them. Rihanna, he's expecting you. Follow me. Adrian and Kate follow her. There is a door that leads to the main erotic houses. 2 security men stand guarding the door. Rihanna gives them a sign. They open the door. Rihanna, Kate, and Adrian walk in. Erotic and sex rooms. Adrian and Kate walk down the building following Rihanna. We see all kinds of people wearing S&M and no clothes moving up and down and involving in sadomasochism, sex, bondage and discipline, dominance and submission and all kinds of sexual activities. It's sex paradise. Adrian acts cool. Kate seems a little bit lost but she is turned on by it. They look at 6 muscular men wearing S&M fucking 2 Asian girls. A couple of people sit naked and watch the show. Some of them are wearing S&M. Some are wearing masks to conceal their identities. Adrian turns his eyes and looks at a section where a girl is tied up in chain and raped by 3 guys who are wearing S&M leather. Kate sees people participating in a group sex. 5 lesbian girls making out, etc. There are all kinds of sexual acts and some of them are doing drugs. Adrian and Kate continue to walk through these sexual extravaganza following Rihanna. Surveillance cameras are recording. Int. Lucifer Mansion VIP room night. There is a pool surrounded by erotic sculptures. It has a water fountain in the middle. About 3 inches deep and filled with rose petals. It has a bed. A Latino girl named Maria who is dipped in oil and a black muscular man named Theo are having pornographic sex. The place seems designed for the devil. We see Lucifer, 40, sitting on a luxurious sofa between 2 extremely attractive nude girls, Raquel and Rita, and watching live sex. There are all kinds of alcoholic beverage and drugs on a coffee table. Maria is pro. She could be a porn star. She is on top of Theo riding him cowgirl style with amazing speed. We also see beautiful nude girls making out in the background. At the entrance, Adrian and Kate walk in escorted by Rihanna. Lucifer looks at them. Rihanna kisses Lucifer French, greeting. Lucifer, to Adrian and Kate, please have a seat. Adrian and Kate sit on a sofa facing live pornography show. They seem amazed by Maria's performance. She is in control despite the fact making all kinds of sexual sounds. Lucifer, her name is Maria. She is from Venezuela, goes around the world and performs live sex. Though she is a little bit expensive. She charges $250,000 per performance. Considering her performance and how beautiful she is, she's worth every penny. She actually beat Miss Universe in a beauty pageant contestant at a local competition in Venezuela. But later, she dropped out, due to her hypersexuality. She is nymphomaniac, always says she must have sex or she would die. I know you're going to come, so I couldn't help but to invite her. She's my treat. Adrian and Kate's eyes are glued. They have never seen anything like this. It's first-class porn. Theo then bends her, pulls her hair and begins to fuck her doggy style. Meanwhile, a girl named Rita looks at Adrian. She is Chinese, did something to her eyelashes and looks erotic. Adrian catches her eyes. He thinks she is pretty. She is making out with a girl named Raquel, kissing, while smoking cigarette. She gives Adrian a wink. He gives her a soft smile, turns his eyes and continues to enjoy live sex. We stay with them for a bit. Int. Lucifer Mansion minutes later. Adrian, Kate, and Lucifer talk. Rihanna sits next to Lucifer. She is cutting cocaine. She would snore some. Raquel and Rita make lesbian love on the bed. Lucifer, I know you wonder if this is legal. All those people are in powerful positions. Some of them are judges, governors, senates, and billionaires who have more money than God. This is how it works. They don't really pay directly. There is a fake fundraise websites. You donate money to our charity. We send you a card. You show the card to the guards when you enter. We don't really have to be rocket scientists to figure out your sexual fantasies. We even have alien sex rooms where professional porn stars have S&M sex dressed in alien costumes and extraterrestrials with 3 tits like Total Recall. Kate, we are not interested in that. We came to ask you about the contract killer with Scorpio tattoo. They said you knew him. Lucifer, his name is Dawson Rhodes. He was one of my employees, not killing people for money. I don't do that. But he used to work here. I saw the tattoo on his hand. When I heard a private investigator was looking for him, I wanted to know who it was. He told me your name. I've always liked your movies. It was a chance to meet you. He gives her a file. Adrian steals a look at Rita and Raquel as they continue to make love. Lucifer, it's his application. There are photos of him including all the tattoos on his body. Kate looks at the file, sees a full nude photo of Dawson, and calmly closes it. Kate, thank for your time. We have to go. Kate gets up. So does Adrian. Lucifer, before you go, can I have your autograph? Rihanna gets up from the sofa, grabs a magic marker and a beautiful poster of Kate from a table and places it on the main table. Kate signs on the poster. Rihanna, I'll lead you toward the exit. I don't want you to get lost. Adrian and Kate follow Rihanna. The security man opens the door for them. They leave the room. On the soundtrack, music plays. The camera pans to Raquel and Rita as they continue to make love. Lucifer watches them. But he is lost in thought. We stay with Rita and Raquel for a bit. We then dexterously pull out of the room. Int. Rental Mercedes convertible, moving, night. Adrian and Kate drive in the street of Miami. On the soundtrack, the music falls in the background and plays softly. Adrian, what's next? Kate, let's find him. I want to ask him a couple of questions. Adrian, do you think that's a good idea? Kate, what do you mean a good idea? Adrian, we should contact FBI. Let them handle it. Kate, it's our case. We didn't come this far to hand it over to FBI. Adrian, it's up to you. There is a silent moment. She then. Kate, did you enjoy it, sex between two lesbians? Adrian, what are you talking about? Kate, I saw you. Adrian, you saw me what? Kate, never mind. Adrian, I was actually thinking about the girl from Venezuela. She kind of got me. I mean I had never seen live pornography in my life. Kate, we must help her. Adrian, he said she makes $250,000 per show. Kate, money is not everything. You know, she doesn't have to do it in front of unpredictable people. I don't want them to hurt her. Adrian, she is gorgeous. But I doubt she was forced to do it. She was naturally overflowing with pure sexual pleasure. Kate, I'll introduce her to my agent. He'll find her something to do. Adrian, suppose she enjoys what she's doing. Do you think she'll accept your random act of kindness? Kate, suppose she enjoys it now. Who is going to look after her later? Adrian, don't worry. We'll help her. But what if I write her a screenplay? You know, erotic romance NC-17 title Mosquito that takes place in Latin America and produce it myself for HBO or Showtime or a major theatrical film. She plays a spy code named Mosquito, who falls in love with an American journalist named Jack who is a photographer and writes for National Geography. Jack is in Buenos Aires for assignment to write about the culture of Argentina. He sees Mosquito and falls in love with her at sight. Jack begins secretly to follow her. He photographs her as she takes tango lesson and other things. He finds out she is married to a general named Manuel. She goes by the name Maria. He makes up a fake story, places her image on the cover of Natural Geography under the title of the most beautiful girl in the world and publishes a preview without her knowledge or approval. Somehow the copy gets in Maria's hand. She comes up to his hotel and confronts Jack. He apologizes for the misunderstanding and offers her compensation $10,000. Maria refuses any compensation. He asks her out for lunch. She accepts reluctantly. They have lunch at a romantic restaurant, talk about romance. He then asks her if he can have exclusive interview with her, and a permission to use the photos. She tells him she has a lot of secrets and doesn't want to reveal them. It may cost his life as well as hers. But she agrees to meet him again. They meet again, talk about their dreams, desire, and passion. She teaches him how to dance tango here and there. He takes her photographs. One thing leads to another. Maria and Jack kiss and make love. They sit in the bathtub and read poetry. They involve in a passionate sexual relationship. While Jack photographing her, he takes some of the most beautiful pictures of Maria. She falls deeply in love with him. Later, she tells him the general is planning to overthrow the president. However, Jack tells her he doesn't know anything about politics. He's a reckless journalist who gets a kick out of photographing beautiful girls. The only thing he knows about politics is Madonna singing "Don't Cry for Me Argentina." She smiles in beauty. They make love the whole night. Later, Jack discovers her true secret: she is actually a spy named Monica aka Mosquito. She steals important government documents from her husband and gives the information to her rebel lover Fernando. Despite the fact Jack is caught up in political mix-up, he continues to have hot sexual affair with Monica. One day, her rebel lover catches them in the act. Fernando questions her loyalty. He asks her if she still loves him or not. Monica tells him she will always love him. She will do anything in her power to lead them to victory. But Monica is in love with the journalist. She admits to Fernando she can't live without Jack. Meanwhile, General Manuel finds out she's a spy after he tortured her tango instructor Diego. He told them that she gave him secret documents that she stole from the general. Diego had been giving the information to the rebels. Mosquito is placed in prison. They give her only water and a slice of bread a day. General Manuel asks her to double-cross her rebel lover and give them all his spies. Mosquito refuses to talk despite the fact she lost 25 pounds in 10 days. Part 12. Maria is tortured until she dies. They bring her back to life with CPR and defibrillator. It's a cruel torturing method. She doesn't tell them anything. They set a date to execute her for treason. Jack, disguised as a doctor, and Fernando, pretending to be his assistants, infiltrate the prison with his guerrilla fighters. They free her, shoot a couple of guards and escape. General Manuel and his troops search for them all over the country. Jack and Monica cross the border to Chile, and come to the US. He publishes her real story in the main pages of National Geography with her photo on the cover of the magazine and writes a best-selling novel titled Mosquito. They get married and live happily ever after. Kate, that's an interesting story. But did you just create the story as usual? Adrian, when I saw her, I thought about every Spanish movie that I had watched. It just came to my head out of the blue. You know, I am always creating story in my head. Kate, it sounds extreme. You said she lose 25 pounds in 10 days. They starve her. They kill her and bring her back to life with defibrillator. That's intense. Adrian, maybe Ana de Armas might want to play Mosquito if she is willing to go all out. I saw her in Knock Knock starring Keanu Reeves at Sundance Film Festival. She looks delicious. I might read few novels and write a spy thriller based on the story. In the meantime, I'll write Maria something seductive. She plays a girl named Eva from another planet. In order to survive or reproduce, she has to have sex and reach orgasms. Something like Species starring Natasha Henstridge. It's soft porn without horror. Maybe Playboy Entertainment will pick it up. Kate, I don't want her to do any more pornography. She has done enough. I wanted her to get married and settle. She is there by herself. You know, I can walk away from Hollywood anytime and do a Broadway, or write a novel. Even start a production company and continue to make movies behind the camera as a director, or go back to school and get some sort of degree and write article for fashion magazines. Or I can always start my own fashion line under X-rated and make a decent living. I can even become a cytologist. But if she continues to involve with those kinds of activity, she will end up wasting her life. The world is unpredictable. Adrian, do not worry about it. I will write her something erotic but beautiful. You know, she plays an artist named Jada who does a nude painting. She dips her body in all kinds of inks and create beautiful abstract paintings. Her boyfriend, Robert, is not satisfied despite the fact they are making millions. He then begins to cut her skin with a knife and make her do erotic paintings with her blood. They make fortune. Later, she involves with a man named Nathan. He sees the cuts on her body. She tells him she did that to herself. Yet, he finds out the truth. Nathan kills Robert and runs away with her. Kate, that's cool. Adrian, what's cytologist? Kate, a person who study the structure of cell. I thought about becoming a cytologist when I was in college. You have 100 trillion cells in your body alone. They perform all kinds of tasks. You know, they form everything in your body. But it gets interesting when you study them closely, starting from cell division. A cell duplicates its DNA. Basically, deoxyribonucleic acid is a molecule that encodes the genetic makeup used in the development of all living things in Earth. But that is a different story. First, mitosis, it's a process of cell division that results in two genetically identical daughter cells from a single parent cell. Then meiosis. It's a division of a germ cell involving two fission of the nucleus and chromosomal crossover and giving rise to 4 gametes or sex cells. They actually take place in the sex organs. But they don't usually tell you that. You just have to figure it by yourself, some kind of common sense, I guess. It's how humans and a lot of animals produce sperm cells and egg cells that contains 23 chromosomes. Later, babies are created in sexual reproduction. You get all kinds of variations, which can be beneficial in the long run in fighting diseases, instead of simple copying of cells. But that is nothing. You can take stem cells and create a heart in the lab. You can create anything with stem cells. You can even create sperm cell and egg cell from stem cell and make a baby in artificial womb, except in women case. It's a little bit complicated. You need Y chromosome to make sperm cell. Men have XY. They can use their X to make egg cells, and Y to make sperm cells. But women have XX. They have to turn one of X into Y, using their stem cell and make sperm cell or create X chromosomes that produces both sperm cell and egg cells depend on the temperature, like in the case of some reptiles. The environment tells them whether to turn into a male or a female. It's genetic. Suppose you modify the gene. When temperature is high, X chromosome makes egg cell. When it's low, it produces sperm cell and vice versa. Or you can take any stem cell, encode the genes and create something variable like clownfish. They are hermaphrodites. They are all born male and then can change to female if the female dies. Or parrotfish. They are hermaphrodites as well. Actually, they starts out as females. They live in groups that consist of one male and a couple of females. If the male dies, the top female will become male and they continue to breed. It can be done with genetic alterations in the lab. You just have to abandon common sense. Int. Rental Mercedes convertible, moving, night. Medium shot of rental car as Adrian and Kate continue to drive in street of Miami. Montage, a quick take of the city of Miami. EXT Miami Club night. Adrian and Kate come driving the rental Mercedes convertible and park their car at the parking lot. They get out of the car. Kate is wearing a spellbinding see-through red dress. She looks breathtaking. We see her Victoria's Secret underwear. They begin to walk toward the club. Adrian, this is the right place? Kate, Caesar said he followed him here. He's inside. Adrian looks at her dress. Adrian, they can see your underwear. Kate, it's not a big deal. We are in Miami. Do you want me to take it off? Adrian, no, I want you to keep it. Kate, I'll just take it off. It'll be fun. Kate stops in the middle of the street. She removes her underwear as Adrian stands and watches her in awe. We can see her private part. Adrian, I can see your vagina. Kate, get used to it. She gives him the underwear. Adrian, you're crazy. They continue to walk toward the club. Adrian puts the underwear in his pocket. Kate looks at the lines. Kate, what are we going to do about the line? Adrian, I'll bribe them. Everybody is looking at Kate as if they are watching a porn star. Adrian approaches the guards and shows them a fake FBI badge. Adrian, FBI. The guard looks at the badge. Guard, let me see it again. Adrian shows him the badge again. The guard looks at the photo. He gives him back the badge. The guard lets him in. But he stops Kate. He's taken by her appearance. Guard, can I see your ID? Adrian, she's with me. Guard, I still need to see her ID. Kate shows him her sister ID. The guard looks at it carefully. Guard, this is not you. Adrian takes the ID from the guard. Adrian, it's her. Look at it again. Adrian gives the guard $200 with the ID. The guard looks at the ID. Guard, it's her, the First Lady. He places a stamp on her hand. Guard, you may enter, Mrs. Benjamin. Kate, Benjamin had never been elected for president. But thanks for letting me in. Adrian and Kate begin to enter. Guard, as they enter, if you ever run for president someday, I'll vote for your Bush. Kate turns around. Kate, I am counting on it. Guard, have fun, sweetheart. Int. Miami Club lobby night. Adrian and Kate walk toward the main entrance. She stops at the lobby. Kate, let me call Caesar. She takes out her cell phone and makes a call. On the soundtrack, dance music plays. Int. Miami Club main floor night. It's one of its kinds. We see all kinds of people dancing as if it were turn of the century. Professional and attractive girls dance in cages that are surrounded by fire. We see people drinking, kissing, making out, taking pills and doing all kinds of drugs. Adrian and Kate walk through the crowd. They are heading toward the bar. Kate is talking on her cell phone. But we don't hear what she is saying due to the music on the soundtrack. Miami Club main bar. Caesar, who is sitting at the bar, talks on his cell phone. We see Dawson, 32, sitting at the bar and talking to an attractive girl named Judy. We don't hear what they are saying due to the music on the soundtrack. Caesar keeps his eyes on him as he continues to talk on his cell phone. He then sees Adrian and Kate, who is talking to him on phone, as they come to the bar. Caesar waves his hand secretly. She sees him. Kate hangs up her cell phone. So does Caesar. Adrian and Kate walk up to him. Caesar points his hand at Dawson without being noticed. At the same time, he is taken by Kate's appearance. Adrian and Kate look at Dawson. The music falls in the background and plays softly. Kate, that's him. Adrian, should I call the police? Kate, no, I want to talk to him first. I'll ask him where he was that night. Adrian, what if he doesn't tell you anything? Kate, it's worth a try. Adrian, I don't like it. Kate, here holds my purse. She gives him her purse. Adrian takes it. She is carrying her cell phone. Kate, I want him to confess. Without a confession, we have nothing. Kate slowly moves toward the bar, so Dawson can see her. He looks at her. There is electricity in his heart. She is the most beautiful thing that he has ever seen in his life. Judy notices it. She looks at Kate. Judy excuses Dawson and walks toward the ladies' room to check herself in the mirror. Kate walks up to Dawson. In the meantime, Adrian gives Caesar a sign to keep his eyes on Judy, so he can look after Kate. Caesar nods his head sure and goes toward the ladies' room. Kate sits next to Dawson. Kate, hi. Dawson, hi. Kate, my name is Linda. Dawson, Jesus. They shake their hands. Kate, nice to meet you, Jesus. It's a pretty name. Dawson, my name is Dawson. Girls love the name Jesus for some reason. But you seem like a nice girl. You don't care if my name is Jesus or Dawson. Kate, you are not a psychic, are you? Dawson, no. I'm not. Kate, what do you do? Dawson, I'm an artist. I do surrealistic paintings. Kate, that's not what I heard. Dawson, what did you hear? Kate, I'm told that you take care of business. She makes a gun sign and pretends to shoot her head. Dawson, who told you that? Kate, if I tell you, I'll have to kill you. Dawson, really? Kate, serious. They share soft smiles. Dawson, you look familiar. Do I know you? Kate, I doubt it. But a lot of people mistake me with Kate the actress. They think we are twins. Dawson, you do look like her a lot. Kate, you don't mind accompanying me to Los Angeles? We'll tell her I'm her twin sister separated at birth. He smiles at her charismatically. Dawson, you're cute. Kate, I'll pay you. Dawson, how much are you willing to pay me? Kate, how much do you charge? Dawson, Los Angeles is pretty far. There is a pause. They are playing a mind game. Kate, we will fly. I'll get rid of her and take her place. I want you to help me. Dawson, I have a fear of flying. Kate, so let's cut the bullshit. If I want you to fix my husband who has been treating me like a whore here in Fort Lauderdale, how much will it cost me? Dawson, I don't know what you're talking about. Kate, forget it. We never had this conversation. I'll just finish my drink and walk away. There is a silent moment. Dawson, 100 grand. Kate, what is 100 grand? Dawson, that's the price. Your problem will disappear forever. Kate, cash? Dawson, right. Kate, where should I meet you? He gives her a card. She looks at it. It has only number. Dawson, call me with that number. I'll tell you where and when. He drinks his whiskey in one breath, gets up and walks away. Caesar excuses Judy and follows him. Adrian comes and sits next to Kate. Adrian, how did it go? Kate, he told me to give him a call. I need $100,000 in cash. Adrian, what is that for? Kate, I'm going to hire him to kill my fake husband. Adrian, we can take it from my account. Kate, I got it. Just keep your money. It's my investigation. Adrian, did you record everything? She plays her cell phone. We hear Dawson's voice. It's a new cell phone that records conversations. Kate, I love technology. Adrian, you got him. Just give that to FBI. They'll take it from there. Kate, you can't be serious. I told you no FBI. We will wait. I want everything. He has to take the money. Then we will have enough evidence to free Mrs. Price. Adrian, what if she hired him to kill her husband? Kate, don't be ridiculous. Why would she hire an assassin and tell us the description of his tattoo? Adrian, I'm just playing with you. They exchange soft kisses. Kate, seductively by his lips, my hormones are out of control. My clitoris is boiling like a demon on fire and the nerves on my vagina entrance are wet like roses in the winter. Make love to me, please. They kiss French. On the soundtrack, music plays. Int. Miami hotel bedroom, night. Adrian and Kate make love in round candlelight. It's steamy, sensual, seductive, and passionate. We stay with them with serious cut. EXT Miami night. Quick take of the city of Miami. Int. Hotel bedroom, night. Adrian and Kate are sleeping. Kate seems she might never wake up for a while. Adrian is wide awake. He slowly gets up without waking her up, and heads to the living room in underwear. Int. Miami hotel living room night. Adrian sits at the coffee table working on his laptop, writing screenplay. On the TV, El Avventura is shown, a 1960 Italian film directed by Michelangelo Antonioni, and starring Gabriele Ferzetti, Monica Vitti, and Lee Massari. There is no sound. Then comes Kate to the living room wearing Adrian's shirt and red Victoria's Secret underwear. Adrian and Kate sleep. Kate seems she might never walk up for a while. Adrian is wide awake. He slowly gets up without walking her up and heads to the living room in underwear. Int. Miami hotel living room night. Adrian sits at the coffee table working on his laptop, writing screenplay. On the TV, L'Avventura is shown, a 1960 Italian film directed by Michelangelo Antonioni and starring Gabriele Ferzetti, Monica Vitti, and Lee Massari. There is no sound. Then Kate comes to the living room wearing Adrian's shirt and red Victoria's Secret underwear. Kate, what are you doing? Adrian, just working on a script. She sits next to him. Kate, can I look at it? Adrian, be my guest. She takes the laptop from his lap and reads the screenplay out loud. Kate, Tristan is in the middle of addressing the closing argument. Tristan, I promised my client I'd win the case and he'd get the best medical treatment. My client not only suffers from paranoid schizophrenia but he's also diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. I know some of you have kids. Some of you have brothers and sisters. Help my client. Don't let the devil destroy his soul while his heart is still beating like divine melody. He once smiled like the sun. Cried like the saints. He continues to cry like saints but he is in hell, can never smile like the sun again. You have heard well-renowned psychiatrist testimonies. Paranoid schizophrenia is a serious mental illness. It has no cure, controls your mind, manipulates your thoughts, recalls painful memories, constantly creates torturing images and eats your soul like cancer. It's a disease of the soul. That's just the beginning. Then there is auditory hallucination, chaotic voices that tell you that your life is worthless. They insult you as if you're nothing, constantly whisper in your ear like Iago, Othello's jealous captain, and tell you all kinds of lies. Suggestion and intimidation are like a box of chocolate, except you know what you are exactly going to get, including phobia, fear, despair, and pain. Peace of mind is absolutely taboo. They reside deep in your subconscious mind and strip your rights to breathe, love, dream and think. You wish they were demons that you read in the Bible as a kid. Violent is just distraction. Maybe, God will send his angels and silent them. But the truth is you're stuck with it forever. Paranoid schizophrenia. It operates in quantum physics. You hear multiple voices in your head. But, it's one. It'll ride you to your grave. If you send that man Ted Jones, my client, to prison, it will be adding insult to injury. You ladies and gentlemen of the jury are no better than paranoid schizophrenia. Looking at the jury's eyes. I dare you to condemn him. I dare you. I dare you. Louis Armstrong said in his music, if that look in your eye means what I'm thinking of, I double dare you to fall in love with me. Let's not our subconscious mind get the best of us. We'll have that little voice inside our heads that tell us to cheat, steal, even kill. But we suppress them. However, it's nothing compared to patients who are diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. If you hear their testimonies, your hearts will ache a million times. You'd wonder God created them to suffer. Celebrated figures like Zelda Fitzgerald, Vincent van Gogh, Veronica Lake, John Nash, Gene Tierney, Philip K. Dick and others are the victims of this merciless illness. Maybe, my client acted the way he did, to tell the Lord Jesus Christ that he deserves to live his life to the fullest and dream like the stars in the skies. Tristan looks at the jury's eyes softly. Now I am confident that you ladies and gentlemen of the jury will review the evidence that you have heard with great passion, compassion and extreme prejudice against that pitiless mental disease, come to a decision, and restore this man to his family. Let him get the best medical treatment available and let's find out what we are truly dealing with. Thank you very much. It's pretty interesting dialogue. What's it about? Adrian, it's about a couple, Tristan and Isla. He is a lawyer. She is a prosecutor. They're just going at it. Kate, you are on page 25. What's the dialogue about? Adrian, it's one of his closing arguments at the beginning of the movie, nothing important. He takes the laptop from her. Kate, I like it. Adrian, I'll work on it when we get back to Los Angeles. Adrian shuts it down. He puts the laptop aside and places Kate on his lap. They kiss intimately. Kate, when I couldn't find you at the bedroom, I thought I was alone. They change soft kisses. Adrian, I couldn't sleep. I was trying to tire my brain cells and fall asleep. They exchange soft kisses. Kate, what are you watching? Adrian, L'Avventura. It's an Italian film directed by Michelangelo Antonioni and starring Gabriele Ferzetti, Monica Vitti, and Lee Massari. I am working on deception. I thought I might want to borrow a few ideas here and there. Kate, what's it about? Tell me from the beginning. Adrian, Calvin is the owner and CEO of Fetch, a fashion culture magazine. It's the equivalent of Flaunt Fashion magazine. Not only he is the chief creative director but he is also accomplished photographer. In fact, 60% of the photographs that are featured in the magazine are taken by him. Jose is Calvin's best friend. At a party, he introduces Calvin to two models named Lillian and Mia. Later, Calvin and Lillian get married. Jose and Mia get married as well. The four of them come to a small beautiful uninhabited island for honeymoon. They take scuba diving, do motorboating, cook barbecue, etc. Later, Lillian watches Calvin and Mia flatting. Mia then kisses Calvin. It was impulsive. Calvin didn't see it coming, holds her back. Mia plays cool. But Lillian gets upset, runs into the jungle and finds Jose cooking bird. Jose tries to seduce her. She acts like insulted and walks away. The next day, Lillian disappears from the island. The three of them search for her and can't find her. Police are called. They search the island and find a knife with her blood. They examine the knife and finds Calvin's fingerprints on the knife. Calvin is trialed. The juries find him guilty. He is sentenced life. While in prison, Calvin asks Sophia, his assistant at Fetch magazine, to bring him all the photos of Lillian that he took. She brings all of them. He looks at them one by one, must have taken a million pictures of Lillian, studies them day and night. Calvin has a lot of dreams of Lillian. In flashback, we see Calvin taking some of the most beautiful pictures of Lillian around the world, including Paris, Berlin, Rome, and Tokyo. Then the photographs of Lillian form the actual Lillian. It's like a photo mosaic, constructing a picture of someone using tiny photos of the person. Then the actual Lillian forms in flesh and spirit. She kisses him and scatters into small photographs as if every cell in her body is made out of pictures. The photos then float in the air and turn into rose petal. It's a beautiful special effect. She then appears through thin air. Sometimes, she comes out of nude and erotic photographs that he took of her for Fetch magazines and seduces him. Sometimes, she appears from naked pictures of her that he took when they made love and tempts him into sex. They kiss and make love. Sometimes, she appears out of his heart and dances for him. Yet, it's nothing but fantasy. Calvin continues to examine thousands of photographs that he took. He is in love with her but doesn't believe she is dead. Calvin then sees Jose in the background of a photograph that he took of Lillian in Barcelona. In flashback, we see Calvin and Jose geared in scuba diving gadgets and oxygen tanks searching treasure under the ocean. It's a hobby. They see a yacht in the bottom of the ocean that sunk a while ago. They check it out. Calvin finds a huge pink diamond. He shows the diamond to Jose. It's worth $123 million. He keeps it. Later in flashback, Calvin shows the diamond to Lillian and puts it in the safe box at his beach house. In case anything happens to him, he tells her the code. In prison, Calvin puts pieces together. He quickly plots his escape. With the help of a cellmate named Juan, a firefighter, he sets the prison on fire, puts a firefighter uniform and escapes. He then comes to his beach house, looks at his safe and discovers that the diamond is gone. Later, Calvin tracks down Lillian in Madrid. She is married to a man named Pedro, an artist and photographer. They have a 4-year-old daughter. Calvin demands explanation why she betrayed him. He spent 5 years behind bars for murder that he didn't commit. She tells him it was Jose who hired her to seduce him and steal the diamond. She is an actress. Calvin asks her where the diamonds is. She says Jose and Mia double-crossed her, took the diamond and disappeared. Calvin doesn't believe what she is telling him. It's not because of that he thinks she's telling him a lie, but everything seems a dream. She looks a dream. His pain seems a dream. His life is a dream. She asks him if he is here to kill her. He tells her that he still loves her more than life itself. Maybe someday they will meet again in another life. But now she has a responsibility to look after her daughter and advises her to be the best mother possible. He has already forgiven her when he saw her. Yet Calvin has unfinished business, wishes her good luck, walks away, then contacts his childhood friend Kevin, who works for CIA, and asks him to track down Jose. Kevin informs Calvin Jose's whereabouts. He is in Bangkok, Thailand, sells drugs and runs an illegal underground gambling club. Calvin flies to Bangkok, comes to Jose's gambling club and confronts Jose, points a gun on his head and asks him why he double-crossed him. Jose tells him it is business, not personal. If he pulls the trigger, his bodyguards will kill him too. Instead, Jose asks Calvin to fight like two civilized men. Calvin looks at Thai undercover cops, whom he contacted earlier, and agrees to fight. After a bloody fight, Calvin wins. In the meantime, Thai police raid the place and arrest the bad guys. Calvin points his gun between Jose's eyes and holds the trigger for long seconds. He is about to splatter his brain. The capital tells him not to do it. Calvin thinks it's not worth it and stands back. The Thai police arrests Jose. Calvin comes to Sophia, who has been running his fashion magazine and helping him throughout the movie, asks her to marry him. She accepts the proposal. They get married, come to Tahiti for honeymoon and kiss in the beach. The end. Kate, that is interesting. Adrian, I might change the ending. Kate, why? Adrian, I have you in my mind for the role Lillian. You play a femme fatale. He might go back to Madrid and give Lillian another chance in romance. Kate, no. Do not change it. I like it the way it's. I don't always like to play a good girl. I'd love to try different roles. You know, I don't want to be typecast. Adrian, you are the star of the movie. Lillian is the main character. The movie is about you. Calvin is obsessed with you. He is in love, doesn't care about the diamond or anything. He just wants to be with you. I think you should win in the end. Kate, I don't really care about winning and losing as long as everything falls in the right places. I just like what you did with the photographs. You know, the image of Lillian forming from tiny photos that Calvin took of her around the world, even nude photo of her while they were making love. It reminds me of us. It's visual. You know, I started out a model. I like photography. Sometimes, the experience can be orgasmic when a photographer captures your raw sexuality. Sometimes, your best photos are better than your memories. Adrian, I saw you on the cover of Flaunt magazine. You look irresistible. I thought you would make a beautiful villain that everybody falls in love with and can't get out of their minds. You then break their hearts into millions pieces and get away with it. Kate, so how are you going to change it? Adrian, Calvin goes back to Madrid and finds out that Pedro is cheating on Lillian. He photographs him in act and shows Lillian the pictures. He then tells her that she and her daughter to come and live with him in Tuscany. He can't live without her. They can start new. She agrees to move. But Pedro stops her. She shows him the pictures, the affair. Pedro is defeated. Yet, he doesn't allow her to take his daughter away. Calvin gives Pedro the real pink diamond. It's actually worth $173 million. Pedro is happy. Calvin tells him he can visit his daughter whenever he wants to. He is free to drop by in Tuscany and spend quality time with her. Pedro doesn't complain. He lets them go. Calvin and Lillian come to Tuscany. He buys a wine farm. They take a walk in the farm. She asks him where he got the diamond. He tells her it was in the basement at his sister's house. I'll make few changes here and there. Sophia will play his sister. The diamond that he kept at his beach house was fake. Jose betrayed her thinking he had a real diamonds. Regardless, she tells him that she is sorry that he had to go to prison in account of her. He tells her it's all right. They stand lips to lips. He says people make mistakes. We all make mistakes. He has made a lot of mistakes in his life. He should have loved her more than he has ever felt about her from the beginning, which is infinity. They kiss French. The end. Kate, it's all right. But I still want to play a bad girl. Adrian, I have a movie called Vanity Fair. I had a girl named Megan. She is bad. Kate, what is it about? Adrian, Fabian is creative director at Vanity Advertising Agency in New York City. He is involved in a sexual relationship with Veronica, CEO of Vanity, played by Olivia Wilde. She is his boss. Fabian is a year younger than her. But they have good chemistry. Later, Fabian comes to a party that is hosted by Vanity and Veronica. Fabian meets an aspiring actress named Monica at the party. They chat about life. She then tells him how she crashed the party. She is not actually invited. They exchange information and go to their separate way. Later, Fabian flies to Los Angeles and visits his ex-wife Priscilla, played by Scarlett Johansson, and his daughter, Julie. Priscilla tells him she still has a feeling for him and wants him to move back to California. She seduces him. Fabian still loves her more than life itself. They kiss intimately. When they are about to make love, she asks him if he minds that her boyfriend joins them, threesome. As much as he adores her and all, that just pisses him off. He has never wanted to share her with anyone. She is the mother of his child. Fabian leaves, comes to a bar and sees a beautiful girl named Megan. You play Megan. It is love at the first sight. They strike up a conversation. They take a walk in the city of Los Angeles. They kiss and make love. It's one night stand. Fabian returns to New York City and tries to focus on his job. But he can't stop thinking about Megan. He looks at her in the computer, finds her in Facebook and contacts her. They talk in Skype. He tells her how much he already misses her and all. She asks him to move to Los Angeles. That is out of question. His life is in New York. Fabian tells her she should move to New York City instead. Megan tells him she will think about it. In the meantime, Veronica doesn't like his commercial idea. She wants him to redo it. Fabian thinks that is unfair. It's one of his best ideas. She just wants to flirt with him. They meet at the dinner, have wine. She seduces him. They make love. The next morning, Megan shows up at Fabian's doorstep in Manhattan. Veronica opens the door without a single drop of cloth. Megan says never mind. It's a bad idea. She turns around and leaves. Fabian, who was in the shower, asks Veronica who it was. Veronica gives him the description of Megan. Fabian runs down the stairs as fast as he can and catches up to Megan at the lobby. Yet the towel around his waist fell on the stair. Fabian is nude, apologizes for the inconvenient, tells her Veronica is just a friend, they are not serious. Fabian invites Megan to his apartment and introduces her to Veronica. They all have breakfast. Veronica asks Megan what she is planning on doing. Megan tells her she is an actress, planning on auditioning for Broadways and movies. In the meantime, she will continue to model and look for apartment. But Fabian tells her she can stay with him as long as she wants to. Veronica seems hurt. She excuses them and leaves. Fabian and Megan kiss and makes love in the kitchen. Later, Veronica acts cool at first, and then tells him she is hurt. Fabian tells her he is in love with Megan. It's just happened. He can't explain it. Veronica admits Megan is beautiful and wishes him the best. At the apartment, Megan cooks all kinds of delicious meals. They sit and have dinner listening to music. They then dance, kiss, and make love. Romance is on. They visit everything that New York City has to offer. They make love here and there, watch classic movies, go to club and dance till they sweat. They kiss and make beautiful love in round candlelight. They sit in the bathtub and read poetry. Later, Fabian gets a call from Priscilla in Los Angeles. She tells him Julie is sick. Fabian flies to Los Angeles and comes to see his daughter at St. Matthew Hospital. The doctor tells him it is food poisoning. It's nothing serious. She will be fine. Taking advantage of the moment, Priscilla asks him what really went wrong between them. They both admit having an affair. He tells her he is not mad at her. She is the mother of his beautiful daughter. She has a special place in his heart forever. Priscilla tells him that she wants him back. They have to be together for Julie's sake. She kisses him. But Fabian tells her that he can't make another mistake. He is in relationship with Megan. Later, after he makes sure his daughter is 100% fine, he returns back to New York City. At the apartment, Fabian finds Megan in bed with a man named Luis. Fabian doesn't know what to say. Megan puts on her clothes. Luis leaves quietly. Megan apologizes to Fabian. She confesses she is addicted to sex. He has been away for a while. She can't get a hold of herself. She needs help. Fabian asks her to leave and gets help somewhere else. But she tells him that she has no place to go. Part 13. Instead, Fabian tells her that she can have the apartment for herself and leaves. He comes to a bar. He sees a familiar face. It's Monica. They have a small talk. They take a walk, kiss and make love at her apartment. The next day, Fabian returns to his apartment and finds Megan is gone. First, he does not care. She might be gone for good. He then begins to worry. Where did she go? He still loves her. She is the most beautiful girl that he has ever seen in his life. No call or anything. Later, Detective Angelica, NYPD, comes to his apartment and asks him few questions about Megan, including where he was on June 12. Fabian tells her the truth. He says the last time he saw her was on June 5. She takes him to downtown and shows him the dead body of Megan at the morgue. Angelica tells him that Megan was found dead in a hotel room in Manhattan. She used his credit card to pay. The killer stabbed her with a knife. At the interrogation room, she asks him if Megan had enemies. He says he doesn't know if she had enemy but he found her with another man at his apartment. They ask him who the man was. He doesn't know who he is. The man has a tattoo of a dragonfly on his right arm. Detective Angelica knows who he is talking about. She tells him that is the dragonfly killer. He is a serial killer who killed 6 women in the New York City area 6 years ago. But she doesn't think that he killed Megan. He stopped once he reached his goal. He also leaves a tulip at the crime scene. No tulip is found at Megan crime scene. It must be someone who knows her dearly. She invited the killer to her apartment. They might have sex. Megan had orgasm at the time of her death. They ask him if she mentioned past lover, boyfriend, or anything. Fabian tells them that they didn't really discuss about past lovers. But he remembers that she mentioned about a girl named Anna whom she used to live with when she was Los Angeles. She might know something. Los Angeles detectives contact Anna and question her what she knows about Megan. She tells them that she was an actress who tried to make it in Hollywood. They worked at Sears and auditioned for movies. It was life. Sometimes, they got parts. Sometimes, they didn't get them. Then one day, Megan packed her stuff and left without telling her where she was going. They ask her if she has a boyfriend. She tells them she was a sex-addicted, used to sleep all kinds of men and women that she found attractive. Later, in New York City, Fabian finds Veronica at his house. She is cooking seafoods. They sit and have dinner. Veronica admits making love to Megan and killing her out of jealousy. We see it in quick flashback. Veronica has drugged Fabian. He cannot really confront her, or do anything. She takes out her gun from her purse. When she is about to kill him and make it look like a suicide, Detective Angelica storms through the door and tells her to drop the gun. Veronica fires at her. Angelica shoots and kills her. It seems Detective Angelica knew that Veronica was the killer. She tells Fabian that they found her earring at Megan's crime scene. Later, Fabian reunited with Monica. They get married. Monica gives birth to a boy. Fabian, Monica, Fabian's kids, Julie and Dion, Priscilla, and her new husband Thomas gather together for Christmas at Fabian's house in New York City and open their presents. Fabian gets Monica a beautiful necklace. They kiss French. The end. Kate, that's interesting. But I died in the story. Adrian, if you want to play Monica, it's fine. Yet, Megan gets a lot of screen time. Kate, I don't want to play Monica. I want to play Megan. I like her. Do you have an alternative ending? Adrian, let me see. Where did the trouble begin? He comes home and finds her with another man. He asks the man to put on his clothes and leave. Fabian and Megan sit and talk. She tells him he has been gone for a while. She got bored. He tells her it is fine. It's not a big deal. What's done is done. It's only sex. We are humans. We are programmed to think we will live forever. You know, we get caught up in little things like cheating and lying and forget what it matters the most. We have to ignore things that spoil the fun and live our lives to the fullest. She tells him that is the stupidest thing she has ever heard in her life. He should get mad at her. She doesn't like this passive-aggressive thing. If she finds him with another girl, she will get furious. She will kill him. He tells her it's cool. Let's go out. They go to club. They dance till their hearts stop. They kiss French. They break into an abandoned cathedral and make love in round candlelight. She tells him she is sorry. He tells her not to sweat it. He has slept with a lot of women. It's not the end of the world. It's only sex. Kate, if I found you with another woman, it's the end of the world. Adrian, I know you will kill me. But I am fucked up in the head. I don't really think like regular human being. If I find you with another man, I will probably sit at the dinner table with the man and you and have regular conversation and end up writing a screenplay. I see life as a movie. Kate, you are weird. Adrian, you only know 1/4 of it. Just forget about it. Instead he finds Megan with a beautiful woman. That is sexy. He forgives her right away. They make love. He then tells her maybe they should get married and fall deeply in love with each other. They get married. Later, she auditions for a movie called Affair and gets the lead role. The story is basically what I just told you. She plays Megan and gets killed in the story. It's art imitating life. But it's a movie. She doesn't care if she lives and die. She's just enjoy making films. Fabian continues to work at Vanity. Later, Veronica invites him home for her birthday. She is not a psychopath in this movie. It's a different film. In the meantime, Megan asks him to go to her movie premium. They arrive at the premium. Later, Fabian and Megan come to a party hosted by the producer, Charles, at his mansion. Fabian runs into Monica. She asks him why he didn't call her. He tells her that he thought she gave him a fake number. But that's not true. He was just busy. In the meantime, Megan mingles with her CO star Richard. Fabian asks Monica if she is invited jokingly. Monica tells him she has a supporting role in the movie. But she gets the man in the end. She is talking about the same movie that I was telling you. Fabian thinks she is something. Monica actually looks tempting. She is wearing a naked dress that shows her skin and flirting with him. But he is in love with Megan and somehow controls his sexual urge. Later, Fabian and Megan converse. She asks him if he knows Monica. She seemed into him. Megan joking says they look cute together. He smiles softly and tells her he met her a while ago, nothing serious. They were just having innocent conversation. She says whatever. Fabian asks her to dance. They dance slow and kiss French. She says, let's get out of this place. They leave the party and talk a walk in street of New York City conversing. They might find themselves in alternative universe like Woody Allen's Midnight in Paris. But it's not the past, perhaps the future. They involve in wild romantic adventure. Or I might borrow few ideas from David Lynch Mulholland Drive and create a bizarre story. You know the characters change roles in the middle of the story. Megan becomes Monica. Fabian walks up and finds himself with Monica. He then goes to Los Angeles to see his daughter. When he returns back, he finds Monica with Luis, leaves his apartment and runs into Megan. He makes love to you all night. Later, Veronica murders Monica in jealousy, then comes to kill Megan. Fabian shoots and kills her. Fabian and Megan kiss French in the beach. The end. Kate, that's not bad. Adrian, I will think something erotic. But there is this Italian film that I saw a while ago. It's called Double Hour. I rewrote it under the title of Dark Sin. You might want to play Sonia. She is as bad as it gets. Kate, what's it about? Adrian, Matthew is a young tycoon. He owns a computer software company called iVideo that allows people to record videos and add all kinds of special effects. He wrote the program, sells it, and becomes a billionaire. Matthew meets a young beautiful woman named Lauren at a party. It is love at first sight. They begin to date. They make love here and there. Later, they get married. It happens so fast. She is so tempting. He just has to have her till death do them apart. Then he finds 3 masked men, Eric, Roger, and Isai, in his house. They hold Lauren hostage and tell him to open the safe or they will slice her throat. Matthew opens the safe. The bad guys take $52 million from the safe. Eric shoots Matthew in the head. Yet, Matthew puts his hand to defend himself, deflecting the bullet before he falls down from the 2nd floor and crashes in the glass table at the living room seemingly dead. Matthew is taken to the hospital. The doctors do everything in their power to save his life. He falls into coma. While in coma, Matthew tries to put the pieces together. He has a lot of nightmares and all kinds of freakish dreams of Lauren, who has disappeared since the robbery. In his dream, he doesn't know whether to trust her, or not. She makes love to him, then gets up without a single drop of cloth and kisses Eric passionately. It's confusing. In the meantime, a young detective named Angelica investigates the case. First, she wants to know where Lauren is. She questions Matthew's friends at work. Nothing helps her. She then finds dead photos of Lauren at Matthew's house, and a clue where they can recover her body. NYPD homicide find the body. It is mutilated. The face is burnt beyond recognition. It's disturbing. Later, Angelica discovers that Lauren is not who she said she is. Her real name is Mia. She has quite records including theft and murder felony. She also once married to a billionaire named Peter who was found killed by 3 unidentified masked men. Later, Matthew comes out of coma. There is no major damage. Yet the build has damaged his left side of his brain just a little bit. He will live for a while. Angelica questions him if he can identify them, the 3 masked men. He tells her one of the men has a tattoo of butterfly on his neck. Angelica checks the NYPD database criminals with tattoos and identified the man. His name is Roger. She digs deeper and discovers Eric, the ringleader, Roger, Isai, and Mia are professional criminals. They target billionaires. Mia seduces them, asks them to marry her, and uses names of women that they kidnapped, which they would kill later. Then the trio threaten to kill Mia and rob the billionaires. After they get what they want, they murder them, and pretend that they also kill Lauren as well, leave fake photographs of dead Lauren in the house, and tell the cops where they can find her. It's a perfect crime. Instead, they kill the girls that they kidnapped, disfigure their faces and leave them where the cops can find them. It's graphic. Angelica shows Matthew photos of the conspirators and Mia that she got from homicide detective in upstate New York who was found murders while investigating the case a while ago. Mia and Eric are also lovers. After he recovers completely, Matthew conducts his own investigation, tracks down Mia in Paris. She is married to a billionaire named Vincent. Matthew, who is still in love with Mia, thinks she is going to do the same thing, which she has done throughout her professional criminal life, and threatens to expose her. But she tells him that she still loves him. She is the one who called the paramedic, which might have saved his life, or he would have bled to death. Eric wanted to shoot him again in the brain but she stopped him. In quick flashback, we see Mia kissing Eric passionately. We returns from flashback. Mia tells him she left Eric because she felt guilty about it. This marriage to Vincent is real. She then excuses Matthew, walks toward the restroom, then uses the kitchen back door, gets in her car and drives away. Matthew follows her. After wild car chase scenes, Mia gets into accident and dies. Matthew is sad. He really wants to give Mia another chance. He likes her more than life itself, had no idea why he was following her. Maybe, he didn't want to get her out of his sight. In the meantime, Frick, Isai, and Roger are killed by unknown assassin who is hired by one of the billionaire relatives that they killed. Later, Matthew runs into Angelica. They have dinner at a beautiful restaurant. They dance slow and kiss. The end. Kate, that's a little bit depressing but I like it. It's darker than the previous 2 stories. Chapter 6. Adrian, it's loosely based on The Double Hour. Kate, I might have seen it. It is about a woman who meets a former cop at some kind of dating service. He works as a security guard. They start a romantic relationship. Later, they are ambushed by her lover. In the movie, she is the one who is shot in the head and falls in coma. Adrian, that is right. Kate, they are 2 different movies. I like yours. It's darker. Adrian, I will change the ending. I have an alternative ending. I don't want you to die. Instead she survives the accident but she falls unconscious, coma. She experiences all kinds of bizarre nightmares like Sonia in The Double Hour. Later, she comes out of the coma. She loses her memory. Matthew, who is still in love with her, bribes French officers to fake her death and talks her into his French house and helps her recover as they start from scratch. Yet, Lauren has no memory of any of the bad things that she did in the past. She has a major amnesia. Matthew takes care of her till death do them apart. Kate, that sounds romantic. Adrian, it's pretty dark. I'll get rid of all the kidnapping and murder that she is involved into and just make her a con artist instead of straight criminal. The shooting to his head is an accident. I'll just focus on the romance and might change the title to Beautiful Sin of the Heart and work on it whenever I get a chance. Kate, Beautiful Sin of the Heart sounds seductive. Adrian, I'm juggling all kinds of ideas. You know, I might have to finish that courtroom drama that you just read earlier or work on something romantic. I haven't made up my mind yet. Kate, I like the dialogue. It sounds pretty serious. Adrian, I got the inspiration from Adam's Rib starring Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy as married lawyers who clash with each other in court, except in Tristan and Isla case. He's a defensive lawyer. She's the lead district attorney of New York. Kate, who do you have in mind for the female lead role? Adrian, I always have you in my mind, heart and soul for all my females leading roles. He kisses her on the temple. Kate, wait, I'm 26. If she's the district attorney of New York, at least she has to be in her mid-30. You know, it'll take 7 years or so to get a law degree. Suppose she started college at the age of 18. She'd graduate at 25. You need 3 years minimum experience as a public defense lawyer, or master of law just to sit next to an assistant in courtrooms, and work on real cases. You know, advising him or her, which means you are looking at a 28 years old woman. No real action. Then if the assistant still likes what you have done so far, she gives you a break to cross-examine few witnesses. That would be your time to shine, at the age of 30. But still they won't make the lead district attorney till you're in your mid-30s, unless she's legally blonde. Adrian, you could be a child prodigy. Supposed you finished high school at 14. You graduated from law school at 20. You did your master, PhD, and the experience thing before you turned 23. For 2 years, you impressed the mayor and the governor, even the president of the USA with outstanding court performances. They made you a full-time DA at 26, and the youngest ever. You then meet your match, a defense lawyer named Tristan 32. He's equally smart and brilliant as you. He falls in love with you at sight. You love him too. As fate would have it, you go against each other and turn courtroom in New York City upside down. Kate, are you really considering me for the lead role? Adrian, why not? By the time I finish it, and before it goes through production. You might be 27, 28. Nobody would mind if you tell them you're 29 or 30 or 31, and play the lead district attorney of New York City. Kate, what's the title? Adrian, it was Mr. and Mrs. Fox. But I changed it to Sympathy for the Devil. Kate, what's really about? Tell me from the beginning. She lies on the sofa and rests her head on his lap. Adrian, caressing her hair. Tristan and Isla are two opposite persons in the world. Not only he is a lawyer and she is a prosecutor. But Tristan is what you call a bad boy. He has reputation of being womanizer. In the other hand, Isla is focused. Like they say, opposite attracts. No one can deny their attraction for each other, despite the fact they are always at war in courtrooms. Tristan has history of defending irrational criminals that commit unthinkable crimes. In the contrary, Isla is the best young prosecutor in New York City. She loves to bring those psychopaths to justices. The thing is, Tristan and Isla love to make love every chance they get, to sweat out all the courtroom drama from their system. She is wild when it comes to sex. One day, a serious murder takes place. Satan, disguised as a young 40-years-old Catholic priest named Valentine, kills his wife and 2 children that he secretly married and conceived. It's played by Leonardo DiCaprio. I saw him in Django Unchained. He's pretty good. Valentine stripped their clothes, placed them inside the cathedral and removed their heart in satanic ritual. It is a major headline around the world. Tristan takes the case without knowing who is defending. Isla assigned to prosecute the priest. In the courtroom, the battle begins. Despite the fact Tristan is suspicious about his client's state of mind, he provides Valentine with the best defense that money can buy and tries to get him not guilty by reason of insanity. But Isla wants full conviction. They go at it. In the end, the judge rules in the defendant's favor. Later, Tristan quits practicing law due to his doubt. He also finds out Isla is pregnant with his child. Tristan and Isla get married. 6 months later, she gives birth to a girl. They call her Julie. In the meantime, Tristan, who has been conducting his own private investigation, discovers Valentine has second family. He killed his first family with pure consciousness. Tristan also finds out that Valentine's dead wife Lillian had been having an affair with a man named Solomon. DNA test shows the kids actually belonged to Solomon. Valentine must have found about it and killed his first family to punish them like God. Tristan wants to tell Isla the real motive. But attorney-client privilege prevents him in subconscious mind. Yet, she finds it out when she goes through his stuff accidentally in purpose. But there is nothing the law can do about it due to double jeopardy. The law forbids a defendant from being tried again on the same charges following a legitimate acquittal or conviction. Then, Valentine's second family is found murder. The cops find Solomon nude and disoriented inside the victim's house. He has a knife and the victim's blood on his hands, face, and body. Solomon is accused of the murder. He says he doesn't remember anything. He even admits that he might have killed them. He doesn't know what happened. The prosecutors have found Solomon's semen in the woman as well as in the children. They were raped. They come to a conclusion: Solomon raped and killed Valentine's family to avenge his kids and the woman he loved. Isla is assigned to prosecute Solomon to full extents of the law. In the other hand, Tristan is not convinced that Solomon committed the crime, decides to return and defend him. At the courtroom, Tristan puts the best show. But Isla is better than him, still upset losing Valentine's case and just wants to get even with him despite her conviction. Tristan tells her that Solomon is innocent. It is Valentine who committed the crime. He doesn't want to use crucial evidence that he found against Valentine due to attorney-client privilege, which might impair his credibility. Solomon was drugged and brought to the house by Valentine. He has nothing to do with it. Valentine killed his second family, carefully staged the crime scene and made it look like Solomon did it. Isla asks him what motive Valentine has to kill his second family. He tells her he's a psychopath. The Prince of Darkness himself. Maybe he just wants to see Solomon suffers. She asks him why Solomon confessed that he killed them. Forensics found his semen in the victims' bodies. Tristan reminds her Solomon said he might have killed them but he's not sure that he committed the crime. Valentine put Solomon in a trance and killed them as Solomon watched in a state of dazed. Solomon then thought he committed the murder himself. It's a pure psychology. Some sort of brainwashing. It's done before. The semen is the result of chemical reaction. They can be triggered just by watching erotic video, or he might even have injected him with drugs that are used for the treatment of sex. He reminds her that Valentine used to be a doctor. He was a renowned neuron surgeon at University of New York before he became a priest. Valentine's kids and second wife might have been already drugged and unconscious with untraceable drug called PCT before they were raped. Fortunately, later, they trace it just in time with the aid of new chemical solution called LTI. The coroner tests it on the victims and find a positive result. Tristan was right. Isla tells the judge the prosecutors would like to drop the charge. The judge dismisses the case and sends Solomon home. Tristan and Isla team up and begin to gather evidence that will put Valentine away regardless attorney-client privilege, due to the fact Valentine is the devil who took human form, figuratively speaking. Maybe he is Satan literally. I haven't made up my mind yet. Regardless, let's keep him human to keep things more interesting. Tristan discovers Valentine's secret hideout somewhere in the forest and discovers that Valentine is a serial killer. He has killed a lot of innocent people. He drugs them, strips their clothes, marks the devil signs on the chest, photographs them nude and removes their heart. Tristan also sees all kinds of satanic things, including dead bodies, skulls, human organs in jars like the Silence of the Lamb and devilish paintings. He then looks at photos of himself and his family, Isla and their daughter Julie. Out of nowhere comes Valentine and drugs him with a syringe. Tristan falls unconscious. When he regains consciousness, he sees Isla crucified on the cross nude, and baby Julie is set to be sacrificed in a satanic ritual inside a big abandoned Catholic church. Tristan's hands are chained. He's also weak due to the drug. There is nothing he can do. Valentine, who is in the middle of performing a satanic ritual without wearing a single drop of cloth like a madman, is carrying baby Julie and a knife on his hand. We see candlelight all over the church. We hear Catholic song for Mass in the background. Valentine tells Tristan that God created the angels before he created heaven and earth. But some of them were so bad. He condemned them to burn in hell for eternity. Not for century, not for billion years, not even for trillions years, for eternity, a place where if you spend 1 second, it feels like a million lifetimes. Flesh and bone would turn into red ashes in nanosecond. They didn't call it hell for nothing. But the story is God must have known few things to cast something that once were so pure and holy into eternal fire. Perhaps all of the sudden the angels decided to behave badly. They wanted what God had. They wanted to be his equal. Satan wanted everyone to obey him, not God. But did God know ahead of time, or he created them to rebel against him? Yet that's our least concern. Later, he let them loose. They had been in the darkness for a while. Light became their enemy. They took refuge deep in the subconscious of mankind and thrived in evil. Still, God wants you to act like a saint. To curb our enthusiasm, the Lord sent Jesus Christ to die for our sins. So we can inherit the kingdom of God and live in peace and glory with him forever. At least, that's what they tell us. I am not mad at the devil. I am just mad at God who created countless stars and universes and put Satan deep in the core of my soul whispering in my ears day and night. God wants me to go down my knee and says, Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth, as it is in heaven, give us today our daily bread, forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For the kingdom, the power, and the glory are yours now and forever. Amen. Tristan is not really listening to him, just wants to free himself, overcomes an extraordinary odd and breaks the chain that shackled his hands. Like some urban legends about a lady who lifted a car and saved her son who was trapped under the car, an adrenaline rush comes and allows him to break the chain. Tristan confronts Valentine. They fight to death. Candles fall everywhere and set the curtain and the church on fire. Tristan then manages to kill Valentine with the same knife that he was holding. Tristan takes baby Julie out of the church and puts her on safe ground outside, on the grass. Tristan quickly returns back to the church, removes the nails from Isla's feet as the church continues to burn down. He gets on a ladder, removes the nails in her hands and brings her down from the cross. Tristan takes a tablecloth that happened to be on a table and soaks it with holy water, covers Isla with it, carries her and walks through the fire toward the exit. Ceilings are collapsing and everything in the church is catching on fire. Tristan holds Isla dearly. They seem to be immune to fire, exit the church as the cathedral sets in blaze. Isla is unconscious. Tristan gives her CPR and brings her back to life. Tristan and Isla cuddle and kiss. Isla hugs Julie and kisses her. The firefighters finally arrive and begin to take out the fire. Paramedics come as well, gives them oxygen masks to catch their breaths, and take them to hospital. Later, they take a long vacation. Tristan and Isla kiss French in the beach as baby Julie plays nearby. The end. She opens her eyes. Kate, that's a powerful story. She sits straight. How did you come up with the idea? Adrian, it was buried in the subconscious mind for a while. Like I told you, I used crucifixion a couple of times. I just go where the story takes me. Regardless, you either keep your demons guess or allow them to run free and scare the audiences a little bit. Sometimes, I want movies to take people to places where no soul has even been. Otherwise they will not let you breathe. It will suffocate you. Kate, I know what you mean. It's a spiritual war. We can pretend we're living legends, befriend with our personal demons and get by. Or we start the fire. Our soul desires to be inspired, feel alive and grow each and every day. We have to let them know we will never bow down or give in. Not only it's personal but it's also a war. We'll do what we say we're going to do and be the best ever. You know, once in a while I get overwhelmed by negative emotions and lack of enthusiasm. I just want to get lost in my characters or have hardcore sex to curb my enthusiasm. Peter Mullen said, sometimes you have to confront your demons and sometimes even let them loose to genuinely find a place where you can gain some understanding. Adrian, who's Peter Mullen? Kate, he's a Scottish actor. Adrian's cell phone rings. Adrian looks at who is calling and picks it up. Adrian, on the phone, what's up? He listens to what the caller has to say. We don't hear what the caller is saying. Adrian, on the phone, I'm in the middle of working on a real murder case. Miami. 4 a.m. I see what I can do, bye. He hangs up. Kate, who was that? Adrian, it's Sean. HBO just picked up screenplay. Kate, what is screenplay? Adrian, 1-hour TV series titled Screenplay based on Me and You, and How movie made in Hollywood. You know, it's like The Entourage. But the story mainly focuses on you as a movie star. Kate, you never told me about it. Adrian, it wasn't my idea. It's Sean's idea. He pitched it to me, said he just want me to write a pilot. He'd find TV writers to follow it up. I sat and wrote a show. I didn't know they were going to pick it up. He shot it with Emilia Clarke. They must have liked it. He asked me to come to Los Angeles and sign the contract. I told him I can't. I'm in the middle of working on a real murder case. He said he just needs my signature. It's done deal. Kate, don't tell me you are going to turn into a TV writer. Adrian, not in this lifetime. I have a lot of screenplays. I have been writing for a while. Kate, screenplay does not sound bad. I watched Entourage once or twice. It's kind of funny. Adrian, I actually had an idea called Q Theory. The main character is Quentin. He is in love with Mary. She is the lead character as well. The things is Quentin is a quantum freak. He can be multiple places at the same time. He has a couple of lovers. Suppose you're Mary. He is sitting and talking to you. He tells you how much he loves you and all. Simultaneously, he is with a girl named Betty. He is telling her the same thing, except he tells her she has sexy eyes or delicious lips. You know, he is a player. He is also with Emma Stone and Jessica Alba. It's an example. The show focuses on the relationship between Quentin and Mary. She loves him but she can't really trust him. In the meantime, Quentin is in love with Mary. He is addicted to her. But he can't help it. He is like a particle. He can be multiple places concurrently. He sleeps with this girl and that girl at the same time. He can't control them. It's like split personality, except they are actually multiple characters in flesh and blood. It's not really up to him. The show also focuses certain aspect of quantum theory and how he is able to control them and be only with the girl he loves and adores above everything. Sean pitched the idea to HBO. They told him they need a pilot. But instead he shot screenplay with Emilia. They gave him a green light. Kate, I like quantum theory. It sounds cool. Adrian, he thought it might be a little bit complicated. HBO likes to keep it simple. They don't want to confuse their audiences. Instead, he just wants me to write quantum theory as a feature movie. I mean he can sell anything. He is the one who comes up with Ocean. You know, he said you go to Vegas. Why does the home always win? It's not because you have bad luck. Because they have more money than you. It's not a secret. They can continue to play as long as it takes. In the other hand, once you are out of money, you are done. So he tells me about Danny Ocean from Ocean 11 series. Instead of heisting the casino like they did it in the Ocean movies, why not play them straight? Danny Ocean is contacted by a billionaire. He asks him that he needs someone like him to rob all those casinos in the strips legally. Danny says how he can do that. The billionaire tells him it's easy. He is going to play them mano to mano. You know, casino can't quit when they are up or down. But a player can quit when he is up or down. That's the advantage. If you look at the chart, casino is a game of up and down. It has nothing to do with luck. When you are up, you cash your chips and quit. But it takes a smart person to do it. That's why this billionaire wants Danny Ocean to assemble a group of professional gamblers. Danny just does that. They go to one casino after another. They play them straight. When they are up like $100 million, they cash the money and leave. They make $1 billion in a week. Sean asked me to take it from there, to build story around it. Part 14. First, I thought who wants to watch a movie about gambling? They are billion stars in the universe. We should be worrying about tearing the fabric of the cosmos, travel to parallel universes and see what the cosmos has to offers. I ended up creating a story about a man who has X-ray vision who sees cards. He goes to one casino after another and clean them up. He then falls in love with a showgirl and tells her his secret. She tells to her boyfriend who works the mobs. Later, the bad guys finds out and tries to kill them. Sean wanted me to write something serious that the audience can relate it to but still far-fetched. I watched a couple of casino movies. I continued where he left off. Danny Ocean and his friends just stole $14 billion in 3 weeks legally. They can't walk away yet. This billionaire we are talking about is Mark Wahlberg. He tells Ocean. This is just a warm-up. It's nothing but a couple of change. They are going to take all the money in the desert and control Vegas. They then will bribe a couple of officials and build casinos in Boston, Georgia, Dallas, Florida, New Orleans, California, basically throughout United States and make gambling legal. You know, someone in Texas doesn't have to come to Vegas to gamble. They will just go to Dallas and gamble there. But first, they have to take care of business in Las Vegas. Mark says they're going after all the casinos around the world. Danny Ocean is his man. Danny and his team go out aggressive. They are merciless like the demons in hell. They clean up all casinos in Vegas. Despite the fact of their reputation, some casinos agree to play them straight. But casinos end running out of money. Danny and Mark become the house in their own right. MGM Grand has to shut down. Encore, Caesar's Palace, Luxor, the Mirage, Treasure Island, Monte Carlo, New York, the Palazzo Bellagio, Mandalay Bay, Paris, and others stop functioning. They have to close for weeks but Mark backs them up. Later, he will end up buying all of them out. In the meantime, Danny falls in love with a beautiful Asian girl named Lucia. She is Mark's gorgeous girlfriend. Danny seduces her and takes her to the bed. They make love. Later, they sit in the bathtub. She tells him that Mark used to be like him. He worked for a man named Teo in Maui. In flashback, we see Mark taking care of business, gambling and all. Lucia is Teo's girlfriend. Mark and Teo hustle all kinds of casinos, empty them out and take over all the casinos in Maui. Yet, Mark falls in love with Lucia. They have an affair. Teo finds out about it. Teo and his goons beat Mark pitilessly. He then hits Lucia with a whip till the skin on her back comes off equals bleeding, takes her out of the car and throws her at Mark. Teo gives Mark $100 and tells them to disappear from China. Mark has saved up a couple of millions. He goes after small casinos in Asia and plays them straight till they shut down. He hires bodyguards. They keep eyes on him. Mark then hears about Danny Ocean and how amazing gambler he is, and contacts him. We return from the flashback. Lucia tells him that she has to go back to Mark or he will suspect. He tells her not to go. He needs her. She needs him as well. She does not want to leave. Danny and Lucia end up making love all night. She leaves in the morning. She lies to Mark she went Los Angeles to see her cousin. In the meantime, Danny and his team continue to clean up Vegas. There are a couple of casinos left. Aria, Vedra, Wynn, Mandarin Oriental, Cosmopolitan. They think they can play them straight. They hire professional card players from MIT. They team up and go against Danny Ocean and his team. But Danny and his team embarrasses them. Not only they beat them like a bad hype but they also taught them few lessons as if they were magicians. Mark asks Danny to accompany him to Maui. They are going to play Teo. He looks at Lucia and agrees. Mark tells Ocean that he doesn't really need his team. He just wants Danny. They fly to China. Teo is waiting for them. They agree to play poker. Teo brings the best poker player in the world Chong. Danny Ocean, Mark, Teo, and Chong go at it, for the maximum payoff over $4 thriller. It's to control all casinos in the world. But all Danny think about is Lucia. He can't get her out of his mind. First day, Danny still manages to do amazing job. But he knows he could have done better. He secretly meets Lucia. They kiss and make love. He feels much better, relax. The next day, he's unstoppable, cleans them up. They take a break in the middle. He tells Lucia that he doesn't care about the money, just wants to spend the rest of his life with her, even he has $1 in his pocket. He will be happy just sharing every beat of his heart with her. She tells him she is in love with him, can't wait for this gambling to end and be with him forever and ever. She will tell Mark the truth. But Danny Ocean says he will tell him personally or just run away with her. They kiss intimately and make love. Later, the gambling resumes without missing a beat. Danny Ocean is natural. He is always in control. They just can't contain him. Danny and Mark are deep into Teo's money. They know they got him. It's a matter of time. Teo has seen Danny and Lucia making out. He tells Cabby, his right-hand man, to kidnap Lucia. Cabby and Teo's goons kidnap Lucia. They tell Danny that they will kill Lucia if he doesn't throw the game. Danny begins to lose in purpose. He just folds his cards even if he has 2 aces. Later, Mark asks him what's going on. Danny says it's just having bad luck. Mark can't believe it. They could have finished him and walked away with trillions. Danny doesn't care about the money. It means nothing to him. He just wants to see Lucia and doesn't want to tell Mark anything. Mark doesn't know it yet. Instead, he calls his team in Vegas to do him a favor, needs them to rescue Lucia. They fly to Maui, China. He tells them to find Lucia and takes her to America. He believes she is somewhere in Maui. He shows them the video. Luckily, Rusty knows the background in the video. It's Black Tiger Casino. They dress in SWAT, set the casino on fire, shoot the bad guys with tranquilizers and rescue Lucia. They put her in a plane and take her to USA. In the meantime, Danny, who doesn't know anything about the rescue, has 2 queens in his hand. 2 queens are showing. He has flash. He folds it. They are losing badly. Mark looks at the folded cards. It's flash. What's going on? They call timeout, want to talk it in private. Danny tells him the truth. He is in love with Lucia. They got her. This card game means nothing to him. It's just money. Mark says why he didn't tell him. Because they will kill her. In the meantime, Matt calls him that Lucia is safe. She is with them. Danny tells Mark about it. Let's forget it. He just got carried away. She is safe. Let's take care of business. They go out with vengeance and take all Teo money trillions in a heartbeat. Mark tells him if he fucks with them, they have USA Navy. They will bomb the city and start Third World War. Just to show him what they mean. Mark just clicks a button on his cell phone. The Navy fire a rocket into the sky. It lights up the city of Maui, lights up the entire China, lights up the Asia, can be seen from space. It is only fire but could easily be a rocket with something bad. Mark tells him all the casino in Maui and the city belongs to him. He will claim it, he gives him the same $100 that he gave him previously. They walk away. Danny reunites with Lucia. They kiss intimately. He tells her that he loves her. She loves him too. He asks her if she wants to get married. She says she would love to. They get married in small chapel in Vegas. An Elvis impressionist marries them. Later, Danny and Mark have few words. Mark asks him what's next. All the casinos in the world belong to them. Should they split the money 50-50ths and play against each other? Winner takes all. Danny tells him that he just need 1% to spend it in honeymoon with Lucia. Mark tells him to take care of her. Danny takes a private jet and flies to Hawaii. She is waiting for him. They make love. Later, they sit in the bathtub outside looking at the spectacular view of the island. Danny looks at the view. It's pure, beautiful, and enticing. He thinks about turning the island into a major casino resorts like Vegas. But he looks at Lucia, who's resting on his chest like Sleeping Beauty, and lets the idea pass by. He kisses her on the cheek. She opens her eyes and kisses him. They kiss intimately. The end. Kate, that is interesting. Adrian, I wrote it in one setting. Sean titled it Ocean and showed it to George Clooney. He tells him he will film it as soon as he gets a chance. He gives him millions for the screenplay. Kate, what about, when are you going to turn into a serious movie actor? Adrian, sooner than accepted. I'm scared of dialogue. I mean I can recite Shakespeare's Sonnet 151 from memory. Love is too young to know what conscience is. Yet who knows not conscience is born of love. Then, gentle cheater, urge not my amiss. Lest guilty of my faults thy sweet self prove. For, thou betraying me, I do betray my nobler part to my gross body's treason. My soul doth tell my body that he may triumph in love, flesh stays no farther reason. But rising at thy name doth point out thee as his triumphant prize, proud of this pride. He is contented thy poor drudge to be, to stand in thy affairs, fall by thy side. No want of conscience hold it that I call her love, for whose dear love I rise and fall. Kate, that's impressive. But do you have something original? Adrian, let me see. A beat. They said, heart is an organ of fire. But why is it every time I see thy face, my soul gets consumed with desire? Thou art French kiss and rose wine fermented and distilled in Paris at the Notre Dame Cathedral. And for all that's worth living and dying for, I try not to fall madly in love with thee in vain, afraid of getting hurt and going insane. But thy eyes composed of enchanter's nightshade, abode of the blessed twilight and wild hazel yonder, are created to seduce a soul into praising a beauteous princess and infinite universes of thy creation. And like two black holes that dilate in scenic seas, injected with sunset, and attract phenomena and mystery, thy pupils pull everything that seeks romance and true love without pride or vanity. Thy lips are fountain of passion composed of roses and carmine carnations scourged with stigmata of Christ. They make saints go down on their knees and pray, lead us into love, for the kingdom, the power, and the glory are yours. Yet, I'm only a martyr who can merely offer to consecrate hibiscuses, tulips, and wild prairie roses to thy lips, and sanctify red roses to acknowledge the existence of a goddess and a universal life force, till thee lift my heart with a kiss, and crucify my soul on the cross. Thy body is Zion, a real source of heat, where fever and true love forever meet. I'll be the luckiest man who has ever lived, if I spend a night kissing thy lips, then thy cheeks, eyes, and collarbones. From thy collarbones, to thy feet. For thou art the definitive principle of a beautiful heartbeat. Kate, that's beautiful. Adrian, but I can't do it in front of a camera. I try to have less dialogue as possible and lot of action when I write for myself, like since I am scared of dialogue, I am thinking about writing a movie called Wanted Dead for myself, about a cop who arrested one of the most notorious gangsters in the world. The gangster offers to pay $32 billion to whoever killed the cop. It's a little bit similar to SWAT, except every money-hungry person in the world including the cops tries to kill him. The cop does everything in his power to protect his family and stay alive while killing hundreds and running away from millions that come to kill him, like Brad Pitt's World War Z, except they are not zombies. They are real human beings. It's non-stop action thriller from the beginning to the end. Or I might write St. Vincent. It's a story about a man who is dropped in hell in search of his sweetheart Madeline, who is condemned to hell after she is tricked by the devil to drink the blood of Satan. Raphael has to save her. In the meantime, every demon comes to claim his soul. He knows this is do or die. He massacres every demon in his path. He finally finds Madeline and rescues her. But he still has to fight Satan. He kills Satan with well-scripted martial art. Vincent and Madeline kiss intimately. Heaven light descends down on hell and turns the place to the Garden of Good. It will be one of the best action films ever. God then tells him no places in the universe belongs to evil. Actually, he doesn't tell him that. There will be no action movie without bad guys and all. God tells him the audiences might want to watch part 2. So what is going to be? He tells him the angels rebels against God again. With the help of Satan and his fallen angels, they put him in prison. A couple of faithful angels escape prosecution, come to Vincent and ask him to help them free God. He says why they chose him. They tell him that he is the Son of God. His mother was tricked by the devil to rebel with him. She didn't rebel but refused to take side and condemned to hell. Later, she returned to heaven. God had always loved her so much. But that's a different story. Satan has taken God's throne. He will bring evil up on mankind and turn the universe into cosmic darkness. It's up to him to stop him, free God and bring order, peace and love to the kingdom of heaven. In the meantime, Vincent finds out Satan has taken Madeline to be his bride. Vincent kills a lot of demons that stand in his way. Madeline escapes from Satan and reunites with Vincent. They make love. Vincent kills a couple of demons. He kills Satan, free God, and brings peace and love to the universe. If that doesn't work, I might write Intervention. It's a story about a man who finds himself in two parallel universes at the same time. One is paradise. The other is chaotic. It's hell figuratively speaking. He is at war with artificial intelligence in the chaotic world. In the meantime, he is a respectful computer programmer in the peaceful world. Later, he discovers the two universes are interconnected. His action in the peaceful world might have caused the chaotic universe. It is up to him to bring order to both universes. It's a mind-boggling sci-fi action that tells a story of a man who tried to adjust life and make something happen while finding love and battling evil that is planning to control human soul and bring eternal darkness to a universe. Kate, Intervention sounds cool. But I love that action movie you did with Sophia Fatality. Adrian, that is pure madness. Kate, it got good review. Adrian, I was going through phases. My brain started functioning by itself. I couldn't control it. All kinds of demons were feasting in my brain cells. You know, feeding on the synapses, telling me all kinds of negative things. I thought I was going crazy. I might have lost it here and there. It's like Colin Firth church scene in Kingsman, The Secret Service. You know, I just wanted to scare them a little bit and create a comfort zone, but I went over the edge. Kate, that's the most violent film I have ever seen. How did you even think about it? Sometimes, I am afraid of you a little bit. I mean, you have the most beautiful mind ever. I want to make love to it. It's erotic. I get high of you. But there is the other side of you. Sometimes, you can be violent at will. It's fucking lewd. It turns me on. Adrian, violent is easy to write. You don't really need brain to write violent. I wrote that with a broken mind. How hard could it be? Kate, it's suggestive. You know, there are scenes like when you walk through the thin air, come behind the bad guys and shoot them in the back of their heads. Sometimes, you appear multiple places simultaneously, and shoot them in the faces, brains exploding everywhere, and having real sex with all kinds of beautiful girls. I like when you teleport into space with bad guys and explode them in midair. I never seen anything like that. You would have kicked Jean-Claude Van Damme's ass easily. Adrian, it's my Kill Bill moment. I wrote it for video game. I got the inspiration from Mortal Kombat Fatality. You know, they have all kinds of finishing moves at the end. They are graphic as hell. I just got carried away a little bit and made the whole thing fatality. I was mad at something. I'll never make that kind of movie again. Kate, I like the sex scene. I was turned on by it. You went full frontal. Adrian, no, I did not. Kate, I saw your penis when you walked toward the living room. Adrian, that was not me. It was a body double. Kate, I can tell it was you by your six-packs and beautiful penis. Adrian, sometimes, you do what you have to do. Kate, what's the movie about? You know, it's extremely graphic. I have to forward it. I only watched sex scenes. Adrian, it's about a man named Mickey who loses his sweetheart Lisbeth to gangsters. He then goes out and extracts revenge. Mickey and Lisbeth are lovers. They make love here and there at the beginning. Later, they sit at a romantic restaurant and have lunch. There is a senator named Jonah who is about to pass new law and eliminate all gangsters from the face of the earth. He happens to be dining at the same restaurant. The gangsters led by Trent, who works for a gangster named Sergio, walk in with machine guns. They shoot and kill all them, including Lisbeth. They all die at the spot. Mickey is the only person who survived the shooting. He takes Lisbeth to a witch named Sarah. She tells him he has to kill 12 of the most notorious gangsters in the world and bring their souls to her in order to restore Lisbeth's life back. He meets Rachel, played by Sophia. She helps him to get the souls. They masquerade the bad guys as if they were demons, traveling around the world, and collect their souls one by one. Midway, he falls in love with Rachel. They make love. I might have left a couple of graphic sex scenes here and there at the editing room. But you almost see everything. Sophia goes for it. She is lost in method acting and does it for real, like Jane, played by Jennifer Lawrence, that I told you earlier. In the meantime, the bad guys find out that Mickey has been killing the gangsters and collecting their souls. They send hundreds of mercenaries to kill him. That's when you see a real violent. You know, all those violent killing that you saw, teleporting in the air and shooting the bad guys in the heads. Sometimes he can be multiple places at the same time and shoot them in the faces and all. He just slaughters them in one of the most violent takes in the history of cinema. He gets his 11 souls. There is one soul left. It belongs to Sergio. He has to face armies of the demons, figuratively speaking. They have been chasing him throughout the movie. Now, he has to come to Sergio's headquarters, kill all of them and collect his soul if he wants to save Lean. It's also a suicide mission. He won't come out of life. They are waiting for him. Yet, they take Rachel and threaten to kill him if he doesn't give them the 11 souls that he collected. He says fuck it. He mascaras all of them, frees Rachel. She kills a couple of bad guys including Vincent who shot Lisbeth. Mickey kills Sergio and collects his soul. He gets his 12 souls. Even though he has developed feeling toward Rachel, he has to leave her. He tells her that he will always love her. Mickey gives the 12 souls to Sarah. She restores Lean's life. They kiss, make love and live happily ever after. Kate, I was jealous of Sophia. Adrian, I might write you the Princess of Africa. An idea that I had in the back of my mind. You remember telling you about Robert Redford shampooing Meryl Streep's hair by the river. I thought Scarlett Johansson might be great in an outdoor movie. But I didn't really feel like writing politics. I am trying to stay away from politics, despite the fact Casablanca is one of my favorite films of all times. You know, I don't know anything about politics. I don't watch news. I get my news from films. But luckily, everything is in the internet. Just a click away. I will do a research if you are interested. Kate, what it is about? Adrian, it's about a girl named Rachel who goes to Africa to do her master and PhD in zoology and help animals that are about to be extinct. Maybe to shoot a documentary as well. I might edit that part. It depends on the flow. She is a doctor. She operates animals and saves their lives here and there. She writes all kind of research papers and a novel. She does all of these things despite the fact she is still in her mid-20s like you. She then runs into a man named Mickey who pretends to be a businessman. But he's involved in illegal activities. He hunts and sells guns. Yet that's just a cover as well. Actually, he works for CIA. He's secretly helping the rebels under CIA agenda to overthrow the current dictatorship government. She falls in love with him after he saves her life from a leopard who is hiding in the grassland. She was helping a wounded deer in the middle of the safari. She trusted an assistant named Adu who was standing with a gun in a jeep to watch over her. It was brave in her part to try to save the injured animal in the middle of nowhere. Till the leopard came toward her with full speed. Adu doesn't know what to do. His gun is jammed. Rachel looks at the leopard frozen as it continued to charge toward her. It then jumped in the air to bite her. It was inches. Out of nowhere a bullet exploded inside the leopard's head. Its blood splatter on her face. It's Mickey who shot him. In the meantime, Rachel faints unconscious. Mickey carries her to his car. She opens her eyes, looked at him and falls in love with him at sight. They would make love here and there. Later, she finds out his secret when the rebels kill innocent residents in order to blame it on the government dressed in military uniform, which is set up by CIA. The government mistakenly arrests her under suspicion. They think Rachel might be working for CIA. They torture her to make her talk. She knows Mickey is CIA but tells them nothing. Later, she will reunite with him. I will work on it when I get a chance. Kate, it doesn't sound bad. Adrian, I am working on this movie that you and I are going to do. It's called Q. It has a lot of sex. We'd do it in the bedroom, in the kitchen, in the living room, etc. It happens at the same time. There is a drug called Q. If you take a pill, it'll give you out-of-body experience. I mean you could be multiple places at the same time. It allows you to walk through thin air and be anywhere you want to in the fabric of the cosmos. It also increases your sexual craving. No side effect. You take the pill. I take the pill. We make love multiple places at same time. You know, there are 3 of me making love to you. There are 4 of you making love to me. Kate, why I get 3? You get 4? Adrian, it's just an example. You will get 25, 30. Our house is like Winter Palace in St. Petersburg. There are a lot of you. We'll have sex throughout the palace. They are not copies. They are actually you and me in flesh and blood like I told you earlier. You feel all the penetration and sexual activities throughout the palace. Kate, are you going to have penetration scenes? Adrian, no, I mean that's beside the point. I don't want to make it straight pornography. But it's going to be in your face. You know, I just want to give you just a glimpse of what we can do with Q. For example, if you take a man or a woman and ask him or her to be 2 places at the same time, he or she would manage fine but they will be confused as hell. Our minds are not designed to be 2 places simultaneously. Yet when you take Q, it feels natural, even though you are multiple places and doing multiple things. Your brain can manage it as if it were nothing. When we make love, I turn into 3, 5, 6, 10, 40 persons and try to give you the best orgasm of your life. Suppose you are on top of me riding me like a cowgirl in the bedroom. I am giving you oral pleasure in the living room while you are lying on a mattresses next to the fireplace. At the same time, I am making love to you doggy style in the kitchen, pulling your hair. And kissing your lips French. It is a joke. I mean not only all the actions are registered in your brain but all those persons are also you and me in flesh and blood. They are not copies or clones. You have the mind of God. Your conscious mind is heightened close to 100%. It's like Lucy. Starring Scarlett Johansson or Limitless starring Bradley Cooper. Kate, I didn't watch Limitless. But I saw Lucy. It's okay. Adrian, I have the idea before Limitless came out. I was planning to work on it under the title of Q. But as soon as I watched Limitless, I put it aside and focus on other things. I don't want people to say this is another Limitless despite the fact it's a different plot and all. Later comes Lucy. I thought about finishing it. But I got caught up with all kinds of things. Kate, what's Q about? Adrian, the protagonist is a quantumist named Luis. He's not your classic good guy but he is genius. He makes quantum pill called Q. The movie is set in near future. He only sells the drugs to a man named Elvis. They went college together. Elvis distributes Q at clubs. Luis also makes all kinds of drugs that heighten senses, build muscles, add strength, increase stamina, sexual performance, etc. He sells them in black market and makes fortune. He lives in a palace and does all kinds of quantum experiment, like accessing hidden dimensions, supersymmetry and quantum mechanics how particles can be multiple places at the same time. He is like Neo in the Matrix. He actually works for a respectful quantum tech. They make dark energy in many universes in laboratory and various quantum findings. However, Luis has his own laboratory where he conducts all kinds of quantum experiment and other things. All the money that he made are used for quantum research. He then falls in love with a young beautiful woman named Lillian. She is an artist. I had you in mind for the role. Luis meets her at a club. They dance, take Q, kiss and make love multiple places at the same time. They have sex on the hood of his car. They make love at his palace. They have sex in her place. They fuck in the kitchen. They have sex in the bedroom. They make love in the living room. They even turn into multiple Luis and Lillian and have orgy throughout Luis's palace. Basically, they have sex with all kinds of sexual positions. Even though they are doing it everywhere, it all happens at the same time. When they reach orgasm, Luis and Lillian find themselves in one place, at the bedroom. Luis tells her there is something wrong with the drug. He can make it more powerful than anything. She asks him how he is going to do that. He tells her he just has to reprogram the pill. There are atoms, molecules, particles, strings, hidden dimensions, and infinite universes. He codes the pill to follow orders. Luis and Lillian take the pills. They make love. Every cell in their body glows like the sun. They disappear through thin air and reappear in space. Every cells in their body turns into DNA, from DNA into molecules. Each atom turns into particles. The particle turns into strings. They scatter in all direction, and become part of infinity. Then Limitless comes out. I put Q aside. You know, I just used some of it for Spell starring you and Scarlett, the same script that you read. Ironically, I started writing Spell before Lucy came out. Kate, Spell is the most seductive screenplay I have ever read. Just be careful. There are a lot of sensitive people out there. They get offended easily, don't know it is art, and might take it personal. Adrian, I don't want to draw a lot of controversy. I will just work on Q when I get free time. You know, I will create conflict. Suppose there is a gangster named Dylan. He kills Elvis to be the sole distributor of the drug. He tells Luis that he will kill Lillian if he doesn't make Q+. It's the new drug that allows you to have out-of-body experience and travel throughout the fabric of the cosmos. Dylan says they will split the profit 50/50. Luis is upset. Elvis is his best friend. They are like brothers. Not only they went to the same college but they also grew up together. Besides, Elvis used to get only 20%. But still Luis loves Lillian more than life itself. He doesn't want anything to happen to her. He agrees to make Q+. Later, Luis is approached by another bloodthirsty gangster but charismatic Leo. He actually offers him a better deal. He says he'll give him 64% of the profit but to make the pill only for him. He will take care of Dylan. Luis tells him he will think about it. Dylan hears the rumor. He kills Leo. His goons beat Luis inches to death. They kill his mother. Dylan rapes Lillian, slices her face with a knife and cuts the percentage to 1. Luis gets his gun, goes to Dylan's palace and kills all his goons. You know, he takes Q+, walks through thin air, reappears multiple places and shoots the bad guys in the back of their heads. It's fast. He pulls guns out of thin air, hidden dimension, and blows their faces, brain exploding everywhere like fatality, except it's more graphic. They hurt his sweetheart. They pay big time. He massacres all of them in one of nastiest action movies ever made. Or I just make a beautiful romantic movie. We take Q+, walk through thin air and make love every beautiful places we can find throughout the multiverse and transcend beyond infinity. Kate, just write it down. I can't wait to make a movie with you. Adrian, I'll write it. You know, the same thing keep happening to me. I was working on Forever. A story about a man named Sean who doesn't age. He is born in 1941. We follow his story in New York City from 1960 to 1965 as the leader of a gang that masters in a bank robbery. Then in 1965, he flees New York City after unsuccessful bank robbery attempt and enlists in the army. He then encounters a phenomenon, a bright light from space burns his face, in the Vietnam War. He miraculously recovers from the burn and becomes forever young. He comes to Tokyo and involves in heroin trade in the early 70s. Then in Florida, growing orange grove, he falls in love with a girl named Julia. She gives birth to his children. While trying to be a normal father to his children in 1980s, he runs into his old gang. The gang ask him to participate in a bank robbery or there will be a consequence. He takes part in another failed bank robbery and forces to run away from the law. He comes to Spain and is quickly involved in cocaine trafficking in the 90s. Later, he falls in love with an actress named Monica Cruz, a girl 1/3 of his age. He leaves cocaine business behind. They come to Los Angeles. He becomes a respectable movie director, 2000s. She becomes his muse and gives birth to his third child. He then begins to live multiple lives applying film makeup that they use in movies to look old, so he could blend with society pretending to be that he goes through changes like a regular person. It's a spellbinding tale of an extraordinary man and the culture and the places he discovers along the way, the passion he finds, the pleasure of life and what lasts forever. I was working on it. I got halfway. I looked in the internet, they are making a movie called The Age of Adeline starring Blake Lively. It's a film about a girl who doesn't age. I postpone it indefinitely. Kate, you should get it out of your system. Or just wait 6 months or so. If The Age of Adeline does well, any movie studio will pick it up. I think yours sounds pretty interesting. I heard about Age of Adeline. It's not all cracked up to be. Adrian, actually, it's inspired by a little bit by Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in America starring Robert De Niro and James Woods and a couple of classic gangster films, including Bonnie and Clyde with Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway. But it takes a romantic route. Part 15. Kate, just finish it and see what they have to say. Adrian, I will think about it. Anyway, who is your favorite male actor? Kate, you're by far. Adrian, without counting me. Kate, I loved Johnny Depp in Chocolate and Donnie Brasco. But later he kept doing weird characters. You know, like Jack Sparrow, Willy Wonka, Sweeney Todd, and Tonto. I got tired of him. I mean you might make exceptional for his bizarre showing for Edward Scissorhand and Ben and June. He was young and cute. He's still handsome but can't be doing tetchy characters the rest of his life. Adrian, I like Jack Sparrow. Pirate of the Caribbean is one of my favorite movies of all time. If they are going to make a 6th film, I can think something fascinating. You know, Jack meets a strange woman named Rachel who has all kinds of tattoo on her body. She has wings like an angel. The tattoo is some kind of map for a hidden treasure. The woman is a criminal. She is wanted by both the cops and pirates. Jack is the only person who can decipher the code. Bad pirates led by Peter the Evil tells Jack they will skin her alive and take the map, and Jack is going to help them find the treasure. Not so fast, Jack says they cannot kill her. She is not human. She is an angel. If they kill her, the map will disappear from her skin magically. To demonstrate what he is talking about, he cuts her hand just a little bit. Some of the map in her skin fades away. He then kisses her lips softly and heals her wound. The map returns back on her skin magically. Only pure love restores her wounds. They get the point. Peter the Evil tells him to take them to the treasure. While sailing, Jack Sparrow, Peter the Evil and his bad pirate get interrupted by Dark Ghost who calls himself the Prince of Black Spirit and his ghost pirate. They fight here and there. Ghost turns some of the pirate heart into black and kill them. They then see English ships from a distance while battling each other. Peter the Evil and Dark Ghost decide to make peace, join forces, and fight the English. The British led by a young capital named Edward say they didn't come to fight. They just want the girl and Jack Sparrow. They will not kill them. In the meantime, we see hundreds of English ships appear out of nowhere, from the cloud. They are geared with all kinds of automatic weapons, artilleries, and machine guns. Peter the Evil hands Jack and Rachel to the English. They all leave in peace for now. Maybe we might see some action, depend on the flow of the movie or the budget. Regardless, the English got Jack Sparrow and Rachel. Jack knows Edward. They are friends despite the fact one is pirate. The other is an officer. Edward is attracted to Rachel. She likes him as well. In the meantime, we find out Edward is working for Angelina. She is the Queen of Normandy. Edward brings them to the Queen at the palace. She greets them. They all have dinner. Edward can't take his eyes off Rachel. She looks an angel of God. She actually glows like the moon in spring. The guards bring a girl named Sarah. She's Jack's mistress. She is imprisoned for treason. She was married to the Duke of Wells Charles, then had an affair with Jack. The Duke found out and accused Sarah of adultery. But she denied the allegation. They didn't have enough evidence. Instead they charge her with treason and locked her in prison. Angelina promises Jack she will free Sarah if he brings her the treasure. Jack agrees to bring her the treasure. But he needs Sarah to accompany him. It would get lonely sometimes. Angelina understands what he means. Jack, Rachel, Sarah, and Edward and a couple of Royal Navy officials get in one of the biggest ship and take a journey down the Atlantic Ocean to find the treasure under Jack Sparrow guide. Then they get confronted by Peter the Evil and Dark Ghost and their pirates. They have a wild shootout and sword fight. Jack and Edward kill most of the bad guys and save the day. Peter the Evil and Dark Ghost and the bad guys retreat. Jack and his crew sail farther and then find the location. However, they don't see anything. Just when they think Jack has wasted their time, the ship passes through the thin air and appears in extra dimension of the modern day. It is the future. They see all kinds of motorboats and extreme sports. They are somewhere in New York. They see the Statue of Liberty. They seem confused. What is this place? Jack explains to them everything and tells them not to panic. Edward asks him where the treasure is. Jack says it's somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. They might have to cut through the land, USA, and take a shortcut. They also need a faster boat like the people who are riding motorboats, for fun and amusement. In the meantime, they get surrounded by USA border patrols and arrest all of them. To our surprise, a man who looks exactly like Peter the Evil comes to question Jack at the interrogation room. Jack tells him he doesn't know anything. He lost his memory. They all say they don't know who they are, just playing silly. Jack has already told them to say they don't know who they are. Or the cops will kill them. Jack seems ahead of his time. He know what's up. They all say they lost their memories. The cops put them in jail till they figure out who they are and where they came from. Then a woman who looks exactly like Angelica come and bail all of them out. She brings them to her Manhattan condominium. Rachel and Edward look at the spellbinding view of New York City from the terrace. Angelina tells Jack she is glad to see him in the future. Edward doesn't know what is going on. Neither Rachel nor Sarah. There is a plot hole. I will fix it. I am creating the story as I go. Angelina asks Jack where the treasure is. He tells her it's in Hawaii. They all fly to Los Angeles. Angelina buys a couple of motorboats. They all got in the motorboats and come to Hawaii. They ask Jack where the treasure is. He tells them they might need air balloons. It's located in the sky somewhere in the cloud. They buy air balloon and go up. There is invincible city that exists in the sky. They all get out of the balloon and walk down at this breathtaking palace. They might be confronted by treasure keepers like Indiana Jones. Some kind of spirits. They might also run into Peter the Evil and Dark Ghost and a couple of bad guys. Regardless, they find the treasure. It's the ultimate treasure ever. It is called quantum hex. It sparkles like diamond. But it's not really dense like diamond. It's soft like the air. It became liquid. It changes all kinds of forms. Just a drop of it. Not only keep you forever young and make you glow like a saint in heaven, but it also allows you to walk through the thin air. It takes you to the past, the present and the future and anywhere in the multiverse and infinity. We have never seen anything like it in the history of cinema. It also has a dark side. It will end creation as we know it. You know, it will put the universe into cosmic darkness if it gets into the wrong hands. Nobody can't will it. It's not supposed to be disturbed either. I will work on it under the title of Quantum Hex if you agree to play Rachel. Kate, I will think about it. But did you just come up the story just now as usual? Adrian, something like that. I saw the trail blind spot few days ago in YouTube by accident. You know, when you check something in YouTube, they usually have ads. I didn't know what it was about. But in the trail, they said the tattoo is a map that leads to I have no idea. I just put the pieces together in subconscious mind. If you don't like that, I will write you something similar to chocolate titled Katie Bakery since you love bakery. Kate, let me hear it. Adrian, it's about a girl named Katie who mastered the art of bakery. She makes delicious cakes, biscuits, breads and all kinds of pastries. Actually, she has a secret ingredient to make one of the most aphrodisiac cakes in the world. It's like and played by in chocolate, except the setting doesn't take in France. Rachel opens a bakery shop in the heart of modern-day London, England. People can't resist her cakes, cookies and pastries. The smell of the bakery in the morning attracts even the angels in heaven. People stand in a long line to buy her baked goods as if they were going to watch a football game at Wimbledon. They are addicted to her pastries. Later, she meets an Irish man named Ian who plays for Chelsea. He is sidelined due to ankle injury that he suffered while playing pickup with his friends. He might even have to retire early at the age of 28 like the great Marco van Basten. Luckily, the managers make him an assistant technical coach instead of letting him go. He was one of the best players in the world, born in London from Irish parents. English asked him to play for England national team. But he moved to Dublin when he was just 6 months. He grew up in Ireland. He chose to play for Ireland national team. He comes to Master Bakery once in a while and buys Rachel's cake. Later, Rachel runs into him at her friend wedding Julia. They strike up a conversation. She knows the bride. He knows the groom. He asks her out. She reluctantly agrees, because she is always busy. Even though it's a bakery shop, they serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner till 10 p.m. Rachel has got in a lot of trouble due to license. She doesn't have a license to run restaurant. They have told her to get a license or they will shut it down. Yet, she tells them there is no harm in serving people free of charge. They are providing free service. You know, instead of people taking the pastries at home, they can sit at the shop and enjoy what they purchased. A man named Travis always gives her pain in the ass. He works for the government at UK licensing agency. He has told her he will close her down if she doesn't get restaurant license even though he can't resist her cookies. He also likes her. That's why he lets her get away with a lot of things. Yet, Rachel knows the place is too small for restaurant. It probably won't pass inspection. There is not enough space. It's always crowded with customers. There's only one bathroom for both men and women. There are a lot of things must be done in order to turn it into a restaurant, including hiring more waitress and chefs. She has been doing everything by herself. I mean, she has a couple of people that she hired, including a busboy, who collects dishes and wishes them. She has 2 waitresses that take orders from customers free of charge, no tips, she pays them. She has an assistant's bakeries. But it's not enough. She decides to get a license. Yet first, she has to take care of something. She has a date, closes the shop earlier than usual at 8 p.m., come to her house and puts on a beautiful dress. Ian picks her up. They come to a romantic restaurant and have dinner. They talk about business here and there. She tells him she is going to turn it to a restaurant. They go to club and dance. One thing leads to another. They kiss and make love at his house. They sit in the bathtub and tell her that he'd like to be her business partner. He's retiring from the game of football. Ian adds her shop that she has been operating is too small to run a restaurant. He'll buy her a new restaurant. Rachel tells him she likes the place. It's located in the heart of London. Even though it feels small, it's priceless. Rachel says she'll have them demolish it and rebuild it from the scratch. 4-story building. They demolished it. Construction begins right away. An architect named Luke leads the development. Rachel puts on a hard hat and participates in the construction, giving advice to Luke. He humorously tells her she should be an architect. She has an amazing vision. Regardless, she loves making bakery. She makes the workers all kinds of pastries. In the meantime, she spends quality time with Ian, going to movies, visiting museum, taking a boat ride and reading poetry. They have wine at a romantic restaurant, take a walk in the bridge, kiss and make love. Later, they finish construction. They are back in business. It becomes the most sought place in the solar system. People has to reserve a week ahead of time, especially during dinner time. It's hard to get a seat. They have to send more people home than they serve due to lack of seats. Food critics around the world give her restaurant 5 stars despite the fact they serve pastries at dinner time. It's also a major tourist attraction. Tourists from American and various countries come to London just to have her bakery. She is inventor. She is always creating various menu. At dinner time, she knows customers might not be satisfied just with cake, cookies, and pastries alone even though they are mouth-watering. She might have done it before. Yet she begins to mix them with various chicken, beef, fish, turkey, eggs, pork and all kinds of vegetables and come up with her original recipes. She becomes the talk of Europe. Meanwhile, Ian stands by her here and there, but he never quits football like he said. He thought about retiring, but Chelsea asks him to coach the main team out of the blue. He didn't hesitate and took the job. They don't spend a lot of time together like they used to. But whenever he get a chance, he always runs to her. He can't resist Rachel's cake. It's famous. He won't go bed without it. In the meantime, Rachel would love to come and watch him lead Chelsea on the sideline. But she is always caught up with bakery. It looks easy. But it's one of the most demanding jobs in the world. She doesn't even have time to breathe. She is always doing something. If she is not baking, she is shopping flowers and all kinds of baking products and secret ingredients that she is going to put in the pastries. But she is always baking 90% of the time. They bring the flowers at her doorstep. It's amazing how many pastries she makes just from flowers. The list is uncountable. We see all kinds of cakes, cookies, breaks and various types of pastries we've never seen in our lives. In fact, we've never seen anything like this in cinema. There are a lot of demands of her bakeries open to close 16 hours. Later, Rachel finds out Ian is still married. She confronts him. He tells her he is Catholic. He married a Catholic. He can't get a divorce. Rachel tells him they should take time off till he straighten that out, and kicks him out of the house. The restaurant is under her name. She continues to run it accordingly. Rachel then meets a young man named Matt at the licensing office in Westminster when she renews her license. He is from America. He has a restaurant in New York City. They sit and have lunch while talking about business. He tells her he's planning to open a restaurant in London. It is a franchise. She is attracted to him. One thing leads to another. They make love. They begin to date. But she doesn't really have time for boyfriend and dating. She is always busy baking and running the restaurant here and there. She barely has time for anybody, even for herself. She enjoys making all kinds of delicious cakes and looking at the reaction on the customers' faces. Of course, she is human. She needs a man's touch and kisses once in a while. She goes out with Matt to romantic restaurants. She doesn't usually eat. She just drinks wine and listens to jazz. They dance slow and kiss. They come to her house and make love. That is her love life. She has to wake up in the morning and bake all kinds of delicious pastries. In the meantime, Ian continues to coach Chelsea. They win Premium League. The team and the fans celebrates in the street of London, but Ian missed Rachel a lot. He calls her. She looks at the number on her cell phone, ignores him and continues to bake. Regardless, Ian continues to send her tulip. He used to tell her she is the tulip of his heart. She made him cakes in the shape of tulip. In the meantime, the food critics rate her pastries and restaurant the best in the world. She graces the cover of Vanity Fair after the chief editor of the magazine George has a dinner at her restaurant. George had never met her before. He was surprised not only she can bake but she is also one of the most beautiful girls in the world. They feature some of her scrumptious cakes and pastries and a couple of provocative photos of hers, including seductive nude photos of Rachel covering certain part of her body with cakes and cream. In the meantime, Hollywood executives fly to London and ask her to appear in movies. They offer her a baking show. They want her to move to Los Angeles. But Rachel declines the offer due to the fact she loves London. Something about London makes her feel happy. It's her home. Even though it rains a lot, Rachel is in love with the city. She doesn't mind going out in the rain and sings like Gene Kelly, I am singin' in the rain, just singin' in the rain, what a glorious feeling, I am happy again, I'm laughing at clouds. So dark up above, the sun's in my heart, and I'm ready for love. She goes out with Matt and watches Singing in the Rain starring Gene Kelly and Debbie Reynolds. They sing the song in the rain as they walk in the bridge. They kiss in the rain and make love at a hotel where he is staying. Rachel then finds out Matt is a player. He has a girlfriend in America and lovers throughout Europe and Japan and Australia. She got up in the middle of the night and looked at his email, which he forgot to sign out and left it sitting on the coffee table. She was just going to check her email. They break up. Rachel tells him she does not want to see him ever again, takes a taxi and comes to her shop. She just focuses on baking, which she has done throughout her life. That's where she finds comfort and a peace of mind. However, Ian continues to send her tulip. She continues to ignore him. But the truth is she has always loved him. She just wanted to try different things. She missed him more than anything else. One day, he shows up at her restaurant right before she closes it, cleaning up here and there. Ian shows her the divorce paper, goes down with one knee and asks her to marry him. She accepts the proposal. He tells her he loves her till it hurts. She tells him she loves him too. They kiss intimately. We cut to straight to the wedding. It's held in the church. She walks down the aisle wearing a beautiful Valentino wedding gown escorted by her friend Jack, who has helped her in the kitchen throughout the movie. Ian takes her hand. They stand in front of the priest at the chapel. The priest marries them. Later at the reception, she has made a beautiful wedding cake in the shape of tulip. It is out of this world. They cut it together. She feeds him with her hand. He eats from her hand. He grabs and pretends to feed her. When she is about to eat from his hand, he tricks her. Instead he kisses her lips. She puts her arms around him. They kiss more intimately. The end. Kate, it's beautiful. But I can't see myself getting married in the church or wearing a wedding gown. I will be too embarrassed being the center of everybody's attention even though it's one day. I like a quiet wedding in Las Vegas. Adrian, if you don't like that story, I might have something for you starring Beetlejuice based on The Devil and Mr. Webster featuring Tim Burton's The Corpse's Bride. Kate, what's it about? Adrian, Beetlejuice is a young scientist. He is working on extra dimension and all kinds of quantum physics studies. He believes hell and heaven exist side by side in hidden dimensions and all. He tries to prove his theory with formula to the gather of scientists at the University of Massachusetts. Nobody buys his theory. They think he is a lunatic. He has designed a machine that might allow him to enter hidden dimensions of the land of the dead and back to the land of the living as well as heaven. But for some reason the machine doesn't work. Later, he takes a walk in the park obsessed with his theory. They think he is lunatic. Beetlejuice says, how can I prove it? He then sees a beautiful girl named Rachel and falls in love with her at sight. She is the daughter of a nobleman and an important woman. I couldn't make up my mind on the setting whether in the modern day of 2000s or in the 60s. Beetlejuice came out in the 80s. Since we are talking about the earlier days of Beetlejuice, let's make the setting in the 70s Boston. It might be played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. I saw him in Kick-Ass or whoever. It doesn't matter. Michael Keaton is not as young as he used to be. Rachel is a student at the University of Boston. Beetlejuice thinks she won't fall in love with a man whom everybody thinks is crazy despite the fact he calculated the odd and it favors him if few things go to his way including the voices in his head would get a little bit quieter than usual. He talks to himself like a mental patient, thinks he would have charmed and swept her off her feet, and says to himself maybe, he will see her in his dream or sell his soul to the devil just for a kiss to her lips. Moments later the devil appears disguised as Mr. Lewis, might played by Johnny Depp or Robert Downey Jr. Or anybody. It doesn't matter. He tells Beetlejuice he can give him a better deal. He can sell his soul and in return for 5 years of love and romance. Beetlejuice would sell his every beat of his heart and soul in a blink of an eye for a minute with Rachel. But he is not too sure whether to trust Mr. Lewis or not. Lewis tempts Juice by magically revealing the image of Rachel in front of him. His heart stops beating, figuratively speaking. He signs the contract without thinking about it. Later, Beetlejuice approaches Rachel. It's love at first sight. She falls deeply in love with him. They begin to date. Beetlejuice and Rachel become inseparable. They read poetry. As time passes, Beetlejuice increasing love and romance begins to change him. He forgets about his physics. He becomes the greatest lover in the world like Casanova. Women can't take their eyes off him. Even though he is in love with Rachel, he begins to sleep with some of the girls secretly. Later, Beetlejuice discovers that a girl named Jennifer that he had hired as a maid has vanished. In her place, he finds the beautiful and sinister Jessica, who has been sent by Mr. Lewis to seduce him. She bewitches Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice has stopped doing his experiment altogether, and starts flirting with Jessica. Rachel leaves him. She goes back to her parent. Beetlejuice buys new villa and hosts a big party at his home. He drinks like crazy and dances like there is no tomorrow. He just loses his soul making out with all kinds of beautiful girls. In the morning, he wakes up and finds 4 beautiful naked girls in his bedroom. There are naked girls throughout the palace. Beetlejuice then sees Mr. Lewis. All of a sudden, everybody turns on their back on Beetlejuice. He knows his time is almost up. Beetlejuice then is arrested for breaching a contract. He tells the judge he will defend himself and agree to a trial by jury. Mr. Lewis chooses the jury members from among the most evil men in the history of mankind, including Joseph Stalin, Adolf Hitler, Ivan the Terrible, Vlad III of Romania, Leopold II of Belgium, Idi Amin Dada, and Maximilien Robespierre as the judge. Beetlejuice protests this is unfair. Mr. Lewis tells him you might have heard the greatest trick the devil pulls is to convince the world he doesn't exist. But the truth is he exists. What the fuck are going to do about it? Pray to God that created the world in 6 days and rested the 7th day. I am the manifestation of pure evil that lives and feasts on fear, confusion, and pain deep in the subconscious of mankind. My only desire is the destruction of your soul. With his soul at risk, Beetlejuice defends himself accused of breaching contract. He tells the jury we can choose to be righteous and live in a quiet peaceful life or notorious and rule the world. It doesn't matter. Fate has funny ways of calling our names in times of peace and war. Maybe, we blame the devil, who is the king of chaos, tricking us into selling our souls. Some of us rebel against our fate. We refuse to let ourselves down. But we lost our faith. It is our eternal right to raise our fists against our fates and seek freedom at all costs. Yet, some of us take the wrong turn but find the light, the way, and the truth in time and fight to save our souls. Beetlejuice then implores the jury to let him keep his soul, which, after all, doesn't belong to him alone, but to Rachel as well. Don't let my heart go to the devil. I'm in love with her beyond heaven and hell understanding. I am incapable of breathing without her. The jury reach the verdict. He is found guilty and sent to spend time in land of the dead indefinitely while he is still alive. To his surprise, the underworld exists side by side to the living world in hidden dimension. I might have to borrow few interesting characters from Tim Burton's Corpse Bride. I remember watching the poster long time ago while having nerves breakdown and walking in the street of Los Angeles. I swear to God I entered one hidden dimension and came out another dimension. My brain was falling apart. It turned loose. I saw things it wasn't there and heard all kinds of voices in my head. I thought I was going to die. Corpse Bride posters were everywhere. It was designed to scare the hell out of me. That's how you know the gods are fucked up. They are sick. They were pointing at me in the form of clouds. I didn't watch the movie. But for some reason the poster cheered me up. Later I watched it. It wasn't that scary. Actually, it's a beautiful love story. I will work on it and come up with an original ending if Tim Burton gives me green light till then. Let's just put something together. Supposed Beetlejuice run into Emily played by Emma Stone, who is murdered in a tattered bridal gown. Unlike Tim Burton's Corpse Bride, the underworld exists with the living universe in hidden dimensions side by side like the others starring Nicole Kidman. They are both hidden from the living and the dead. She says he's her husband. She takes him to capital city of the land of the dead. Beetlejuice reunites with his dead cat. In the meantime, Juice finds out Emily was murdered by a criminal named the Dark Lord Richard on the eve of her wedding while walking in the park at her house. She was wearing her wedding gown and contemplating running away. Nobody knows what he looks like, what he does and who is. In the living world, Rachel is told Beetlejuice is dead. She might have to marry another man. In the other hand, Beetlejuice can't wait to return to living world and be with Rachel. He tells Emily he is wrongfully accused. He is not supposed to be here. He is still alive. The devil tricked him into selling his soul, which belonged neither to him nor the devil. It belongs to Rachel. She asks him where the soul is located in human body. Beetlejuice points at his heart. She tells him as long as he has his heart, he still has his soul. The soul can't be sold, borrowed, rented, or given to something good or evil. You have to hold on to it. He disagrees with her. But he is in underworld. He just has to tag along. In the meantime, Emily is in love with Beetlejuice. She can't wait to get married. But he lies to Emily. He tells her he must return to the world of the living and brings his quantum machine, which will allow them to go back and forth between the land of the living and the dead as they please. It can serve them for their honeymoon as well. But first, he promises to bring her a fresh-cut red rose for the garden of undying true love for her. He made it up out of the blue. There is no such the garden of undying true love. Regardless, Emily kisses his lips, takes him to see her Aunt Maleficent, who is now the sympathetic ruler of the land of the dead. She places them in a quantum machine and sent Beetlejuice and Emily to the world of the living. Beetlejuice shows Emily his quantum machine. He is still working on it despite the fact he has touched it for a while. Beetlejuice tells her to wait in his lab till he finds a fresh-cut red rose. Instead he comes to see Rachel's house and finds her gardening all kinds of beautiful roses. She sees Beetlejuice. She can't believe what her eyes are looking at. She runs toward him. They hug and kiss passionately. Beetlejuice tells her he missed her a lot. He had been held in the world of dead without his will. The devil put him there. He kisses her lips and tells her can't live without her. She says not a day has gone by without her dreaming about him day and night. They kiss passionately. Emily, who has followed him, sees them together. She feels betrayed. She approaches Beetlejuice, grabs his hand, pulls him, presses a button that Maleficent gives her and brings him back to the world of the dead. Rachel tells her parents that she saw Beetlejuice. He is still alive. He's held in the underworld against his will. They think she has gone mad and takes her to see a shrink Marta played by Julia Roberts. He tells Marta what she saw. Marta doesn't believe her, gives Rachel all kinds of medication to slow down the connections of her brain. Marta tells Rachel she is imagining too much. Actually, the drugs that she gives her designed to erase her memory for past few days. Rachel doesn't have any knowledge of seeing Beetlejuice. Her parents, who think Beetlejuice is dead, pressure her into marrying a man named Dante. He is Mr. Lewis the Devil himself. He takes all kinds of forms. Rachel refuses to marry Dante. She comes to Beetlejuice's grave and cries. In the other hand, Emily is heartbroken by Beetlejuice's dishonesty. Beetlejuice apologizes for lying to her. Later, they put their difference aside. At Underworld Club and Restaurant, Emily sings a couple of love songs for the dead. Beetlejuice plays piano. Her aunt owns the club. After they close, Emily and Beetlejuice dance slow. When they are about to kiss, she admits she was hurt and placed spell on his drink, so Beetlejuice could fall in love with her. She says she is sorry. Regardless, Beetlejuice tells her she is one of the most beautiful girls he has ever seen and kisses her. Shortly, Beetle's friend dies and comes to the world of dead and tells Beetle Rachel is about to marry Dante. Beetlejuice is saddened by the news and agrees to marry Emily. Maleficent tells Beetlejuice he must say his vows in the world of the living and drink poison and join Emily in death forever. Beetlejuice agrees to die for Emily. All of the dead come to in the real world to the world of the living to celebrate the wedding ceremony for Beetlejuice and Emily. Boston explodes into chaos. People run into their beloved ones. The living and the dead reunion under the strange conditions. Emily sees Rachel holding a rose at Boston Park. She is standing next to a pond. Her tears drops on a rose. Emily realizes that she is denying Rachel her chance at happiness the same way it was stolen from her. Later, when Beetlejuice is prepared to drink the cup of poison to kill himself, Emily stops him. She kisses his lips passionately for one last time and tells him to return to Rachel. There is a big wedding of the living. When Rachel is about to say I do, Beetlejuice interrupted the wedding. He tells her Dante is Mrs. Lewis. He is also Dark Lord Richard who killed Emily. The Prince of Darkness. Emily recognizes him as her former fiancé, who is revealed to be the one who murdered her to steal her wealth. He is going to do the same. Mr. Lewis tries to kill Rachel with a knife. But Beetlejuice stops him. They have an epic fight. Beetlejuice knocks him out cold. The cops arrest Mr. Lewis and takes him to jail. Beetlejuice asks Rachel to marry him. She accepts the proposal. He puts the rings on her and kisses Rachel intimately. He lights up like Jesus Christ. His curse is lifted off. In the meantime, Emily just kisses a man who is standing next to her. Miraculously, her life is restored. The living and the dead all have a good time celebrating the wedding. Beetlejuice and Rachel dance slow and kiss intimately. The end. Kate, that's not bad.